exactly 6:30. Good morning on this beautiful first day of December 2025. Good morning. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Olo. Christmas is here.
Wow.
Imagine.
Yeah. Christmas is here. Assassination of chicken and goat's assassination is just about to happen. But the Star is saying that there is no cheer for families as festivities loom. Tutakula tu.
Due to tough economic times?
Yes. According to Oxfam, there's a report that says that around 50% cost of food has risen by 50%. That's by Oxfam. So there is no cheer for Christmas as families actually now are struggling to meet. But hey, tutachinja tu kakitu.
Somewhere.
Right? Somewhere too. Something will happen.
And Victor, as you mentioned, Oxfam report, there's a list of 125 people in Kenya who are owners of the wealth in Kenya. I saw a name right there.
125.
If it's not you, then I think it's one of your kids.
Stop shouting. Stop shouting. It's 6:32. Remember?
Only.
Mapema sana. Why are you trying to say that? Even mine, I've not seen my name there. But did you have to broadcast it?
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay.
It means we are safe, all of us.
Very nice. That is Give Us on Minor. And of course, we are the entire team here. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Olo. Today on politics, let's talk about the by-election report card. That is what I want to talk about. A lot really happened generally. A lot of setbacks. Many people did not expect some candidates to win. A lot of people also expected some candidates to win. So let's take a look at the by-election report card. Yes, that's going to be our topic of discussion in Eye on Politics on this beautiful day. Walimu Gatacha, who is an advocate of the High Court, will be here on set. Gilbert Aweno, strategic communications expert, is a lawyer and a political analyst as well. And finally, Daniel Jumomondi, who is Africa regional representative for the Global Peace Foundation. The same panel that I had here last week will be here with me again this morning. Let's do that business at 7, Cindy or Vivian?
Yes.
What do you have for us today?
At exactly 7 a.m. Victor will be getting into that. A very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show this morning. As always, it is a pleasure to have you start off your day right here with us. Today being a Monday, we have a lot in store. And as it is the 1st of December, it is also World AIDS Day. And the numbers are really alarming according to the World AIDS, just a moment. Yes, according to the World AIDS, I've forgotten that name. It has skipped me. Yeah, the statistics are showing that the numbers are really alarming, and the rise in the new infection is about 19% rise.
And sadly, teenagers.
Yes. Between the ages of 15 and 19, the numbers are really high. And between the ages of 15 and 34, we have 74% of the new infections coming from that particular age group. So these numbers are really alarming, with Nairobi leading, in those numbers. It is a time to call for action, and we need to go hard, I believe, on sex education. I think that is the way to go right now. Go hard on sex education, get to talk about sex, talk about condoms. We don't talk about them, get to talk about them, and also as we advocate for abstinence for the teenagers. And we'll be getting into that from our Western Spectrum, that is with Achola Simon. He'll be getting into that and speaking more into those numbers and maybe what is amiss and what can be looked into. Now, away from that, today being Family Check, we will be looking into December is here, the festivities are here. How are you planning on spending time with your family? So finding time with family is our topic of conversation, and I will be joined by a counseling psychologist by the name Cleopa Njiru. You definitely want to stay tuned for that conversation that will be coming to you at 9 a.m. Mike, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic. I'm glad to be here. And to everyone who is watching KBC Channel 1, welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. It's December, yes. Time for family, very important. Even when it comes to how you spend your finances, Very important. So that's something to think about. First things first, let me interest you with a quote for today. This concerns work, actually. Luck is the dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get. Luck is the dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get. That is a quote by Ray Kroc. Good morning, Giverson Minor.
And from that quote, the more you sweat, the luckier you get. Plus, you also get tired.
Yes.
That's a fact, right?
That's a fact of life.
Yes. So, people who are not tired are on this other side. So, you better choose your poison.
Pick
Either you
your
are tired
struggle.
or you are not.
Yeah.
So, for me, Mike, I'm here to bring you news.
Yes.
Of course, from the latest, from within, and of course, across the country and even beyond. What transpired yesterday, including sports. I don't know how many of you are fans of Arsenal or Chelsea. I don't know.
You speak of Arsenal.
Victor, maybe you might need to.
You want to talk about us?
Victor, you might need to
Victor
talk about
wants
that.
nothing to do with that.
No. I drew at the bridge. To pick a point at the bridge was good enough. As in that has just helped us to stay afloat at the top of the table. And many people were against Arsenal. They really wanted Arsenal to lose that game. But picking a point at the bridge has just given us that momentum to keep going.
You're still
Yes.
on top of the table.
Exactly.
That's a good
It's
thing
very lonely
for now.
there. It's very
Lonely at the top.
It's snowing.
It's not against crowded.
But Victor, time will come for the elephant to do what it does.
I mean, we're used to it, so it's just a matter of time.
Oh, wait.
At the end of the day, you know what will happen to the branches of that tree. They might break.
We are going to do more grafting. My friend, support is going to come. Don't worry. Give us on. Please give us the news. Let's talk about us now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So on this side, we bring you news, of course, the latest from within and of course across the country, plus including sports, as I've told you. So my name is Giverson Minor, and again, welcome to Good Morning Kenya, coming to live from the broadcasting house in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. So start interacting with us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, and mine is Giverson Minor. So let's get started. Now, the National Police Service and the National Transport and Safety Authority have cautioned motorists against fueling a preventable national tragedy through drunk driving, speeding, and of course, outright defiance of the law during the festive period. Speaking during a road safety concert in Nairobi, the agencies say Kenya is losing lives not to accidents, but to road indiscipline. Take a look.
As the festive season begins, the National Transport and Safety Authority and the National Police are issuing a firm warning to road users that recklessness on roads will not be tolerated.
We have prepared enough that our officers will be there on the ground to check whether the vehicles, whether those public service vehicles are carrying excess, whether the vehicles are roadworthy.
We'll be issuing the checklist for what violations will lead you into problems. We'll not be out to really do the cat and mouse kind of game, but a bit proactive, that you get to know what you're supposed to do.
Nairobi Area Deputy Traffic Commander Rashid Ali, who spoke during a road safety and precaution concert in Nairobi, said the agencies are ready to deploy roadblocks, remove unroadworthy vehicles, and enforce the law without compromise.
For the drivers who will be contravening, those who will be drunk, those who will be driving on our road while drunk, those who want to overload our vehicle, those who are going to carry excess, the fine will be stiff. They will be arrested and charged accordingly.
NTSA and NPS are urging members of the public to report incidences of recklessness, stressing road safety is a shared responsibility.
We also want to encourage the members of the public to report incidences. Don't wait until we come for these drivers. If you notice a driver who is speeding, driver named Levy, just report.
In a new initiative, NTSA and National Police Service are collaborating with the music and entertainment sector to lead public awareness campaigns on road safety to push messages of discipline, sobriety and responsible driving.
We shall be on the road throughout until the second week of January. Don't be on the wrong side. Be on the safe side. Watu waende pole pole, warudi pole pole.
Through this collaboration, when we combine the energy, we combine art, that is music, we bring enforcement through the police, and we bring policy through NTSA, we're able to achieve our objective.
Let's adhere, let's talk to our drivers, let's sensitize our workers. They need to tie their safety belts. They need not to drink while they're driving.
We need to change our attitude. We need to go back to the basics so that we can all see safety. As we go to the festive time, we all want to celebrate and go back safe. We urge everyone, it's their responsibility.
Over 4,200 people have lost their lives in road carnage this year.
I've always repeated this, that really the best gift you can give to your family is for you to arrive alive home. Not the bread, not the clothes you're going to take home, not those parties you're going to throw. But if you can remain alive for them, I think that is the best gift that you can give to your friends, family, and relatives.
And our President William Ruto says he's setting up the country for takeoff from third to first world within the next 30 years rather. The head of state, while addressing congregants at AIC Milimani, Nairobi, said key sectors that were ailing, including health, education and economy in general, have been fixed, and the country is now ready for takeoff to greatness.
After several walking trips across the country, President William Ruto on Sunday chose to remain in the capital city, where he joined the faithful at the Nairobi AIC Milimani. The president sustaining his quest of moving Kenya from third to first world country within the next 3 decades.
I am asking you as members of my local church and as Christians to pray for the plans we have for Kenya, so that God can make the difference in Kenya. I am very confident. I have no doubt in my mind that it is possible to move Kenya from a third world country to a first world country before I die. It's possible. In the next, by the time I get to 90, Kenya should be a first world country.
President Ruto says his administration has since stabilized the economy, health and education systems that he says were ailing before he came into office.
I have great confidence in the future of Kenya. I have seen what God can do. 3 years ago, we were struggling with the economy, we were struggling with education. Our health system was not quite together. Our economy was not doing very well. But God has healed our economy. He has changed things for us.
In a seemingly charm offensive, the head of state turned to the church, asking it to pray for the government and the leaders to do the right thing for the country.
We have additional leaders who are coming to join us, those of us who are privileged to be in leadership. Please pray for those who have been elected. Pray for those of us who are serving, so that we can discover the will of God for our nation and the purposes of God for our leadership.
After slamming the opposition for losing the parliamentary seats to the broad-based side in the Thursday's by-elections, he now appeared to embrace even the opposition-elected leaders for MCA positions, saying it was the will of God.
Matters Health, Kenya registered 19,991 new HIV infections in 2024. The increment of more than 3,000 200 new cases from the previous year undermines the government's ambition of making Kenya HIV/AIDS free by 2030. The government is, however, making great strides in treatment with plans to roll out injectable antiretroviral therapy ART in 2026 to improve treatment adherence and ease pressure on patients.
DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua attended a Thanksgiving church service in Kariobangi North days after his candidate won the area county assembly seat.
Now, we apologize for that mix-up. And now we, of course, come back for that story. And now the government has reiterated the need the government has reiterated the need to, invest in agriculture, tax reforms, and innovation and technology to generate its own resources and stop over-reliance on foreign aid. Speaking in Nairobi during the inaugural summit and launch of the 10-year strategic plan of the African Economic Research Consortium, the Principal Secretary for Economic Planning, Dr. Boniface Makoha, also called for embedding research in development planning. The consortium seeks to strengthen local capacity for independent and rigorous research on African economic management.
Two initiatives that we have implemented through our own generated resources include, number one, the affordable housing. Number two, the universal health coverage, the SHA. So this is a demonstration that as a people, if we look inward, we are able to generate our own resources. One of the approach here is tax, but we have also gone ahead to bring on board private players.
We are strongly committed to working with the National Treasury and Economic Planning, to work with the government of Kenya, to address issues that could enhance strategic development of Kenya by researching, generating data, strategic data, so that policies and strategies are designed on the basis of hard evidence and ability to strategize, see the pitfalls, and also maximize the benefits in terms of the planning where we should go.
Now, Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua is accusing the government and Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja of sponsoring violence witnessed during the church service he was attending in Kariobangi North, Nairobi. The former deputy president alleges goons were sent to attack congregants in church as police officers lobbed tear gas at the masses. Meanwhile, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has lauded President William Ruto for commissioning the dualization of Rironi-Mau Summit Road, terming it strategic in enhancing trade within the East African region.
DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua attended a Thanksgiving church service in Kariobangi North days after his candidate won the area county assembly seat, but the ceremony ended prematurely after chaos erupted and tear gas were lobbed inside the church. Gachagua attributed the violence to national government and Nairobi County Governor.
Na mimi nikuambia gavana, wafuasi wangu walikupigia kura. Oro natumiwa na Ruto kutuma wahuni kuangaisha watu ya jamii yangu. Why? These people voted for you. You have turned against them. Sasa Ruto anakutuma na mihuni upige hii jamii ati kwa sababu hataki mambo yako. You cannot get the support of this community by force.
Watu wote tukiwa watu wa fujo hakutakuwa na Kenya. Lazima watu wajue tuna katiba na tufuate katiba. Viongozi wawache kuwa ati kuna viongozi lazima wakae ni kama wanafuatwa, wanafukuzwa, ni kama ni wakibiaji, ni kama Kenya sio nchi yao.
Elsewhere in Kericho County, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has lauded President William Ruto for initiating the construction of a dual carriageway along the Rironi-Mau Summit route.
Vila amelaunch kutoka Rironi mpaka hapa Mau Summit, isukumwe mpaka kwangu kule Malaba, isukume mpaka Isibania, Kericho mpaka Kisumu. Hii barabara inabeba almost 40-50% of our external trade.
MPs accompanying Speaker Wetangula said the results of the just concluded by-elections signaled the popularity of the broad-based government across the country.
Ile by-election tulifanya, hiyo ni ishara and a warning kwamba sisi tukiwa Kenya Kwanza na broad-based tuko tayari kusonga mbele na Mheshimiwa Rais atuongoze mpaka 2032, atuachie taifa ambayo imejengwa kamili.
Na tunawaambia mambo bado. Hata hiyo Trans Nzoia yeye ni one term, hakuna kitu kingine anatuambia.
Sentiments echoed in Kirinyaga County by Ndia MP George Kariuki, who dismissed claims that Bere North constituency by-election was rigged.
Upinzani ama mtu yote akipoteza kura, badala ajiulize ni wapi alipanga vibaya ama ni wapi hakuweka bidii. Yeye ni mbio kuanza kuongea juu ya vile uchaguzi imeimbiwa. Hii hakuna uchaguzi imeimbiwa.
In Murang'a County, area Senator John Nyoto challenged Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Fred Matiang'i to ask his leader and former President Uhuru Kenyatta to reach out to Rigathi Gachagua and unite the mountain electorate.
Now, away from that, the Kenya Association of Women in Tourism, KAWT, has intensified its campaign against sexual harassment and gender-based violence in the hospitality sector. This marks 1 year since signing a partnership with the Kenya Union of Domestic Hotels, Educational Institutions, Hospitals, and Allied Workers to promote safer workplaces. Here is Ian Nzive with this and more stories in our County News Roundup.
The Kenya Association of Women in Tourism and Kudehia have marked 1 year of partnership aimed at ending sexual harassment and GBV in the hospitality sector. The two say GBV cases have dropped by 51% as more employers adopt workplace policies. KAWT plans to scale up the training of hospitality workers in the counties during the 16 days of activism against GBV.
We've been able to reach out to several hospitality establishments within different parts of the country. We've been to Kwale County, Kilifi County, Nakuru County, Nairobi, and we are still continuing to pursue outreach in other counties as well.
Almost 51% of the hotels that we represent, that they have been able to put in place the sexual harassment policy, and not only to put in place the sexual harassment policy, but also they have engaged, they have collaborated with the employees, the representatives, to ensure that this sexual harassment policy, it is formulated by both management, the employees, and the trainees.
Elsewhere in Kiambu County, young graduates have been urged to embrace technology to unlock career and business opportunities. Speaking during SP Event Academy's 6th graduation ceremony in Ruiru.
A lot of job opportunity, especially when you do event, because event is wide. Like now, it's divided into different sections. We have the tent decor, we have the floral side, we have the funeral side. So when you decide to specialize, you can decide to go to any side.
In Tana River County, residents of Shirikisho and neighboring villages in Garsen held protests demanding its elevation to location status to improve access to social assistance programs and service delivery.
Ili tupate kuendeleza hii sehemu yetu, tupige hatua kimaendeleo, kwa sababu tunakosa kupata maendeleo huko kwetu kwa sababu ya viongozi wale ambao wanaajiriwa na serikali, kama hao wenzangu wanavyolalamikia juu ya uongozi wa local government. Chief, sub chief hawatoi zile huduma zinavyotakikana.
Meanwhile, religious leaders in Homa Bay County have been asked to promote peace and unity across the country. Redeemed Gospel Church founder Archbishop Arthur Kitonga made the call during the consecration of the new South Nyanza Bishop in Oyugis.
There are even some preachers who are using the pulpit to abuse people. But the man Vidal is here, Odor, is a man who is very humble and he takes care of his family.
Switching gears to Baringo County, women in Ilchama's ward, Baringo South, are using sports and tree planting to mitigate climate change impacts caused by rising water levels in Lake Baringo and Bogoria.
We are seeing some people also being displaced, so we need to join our efforts together with various stakeholders. It's not a one-man show. We need to bring a number of stakeholders so that then we can be able to fight climate change.
Sababu kuu ya kufanya hivyo ni kuleta hawa kwa pamoja ili tuweze kukuza ya mazingira na kuhakikisha kwamba mazingira yetu ni nzuri.
Still in Baringo County, Kuppet officials are demanding the immediate confirmation of JSS intern teachers, saying the 17,000 Kenya shilling stipend is inadequate.
We are here today to say that without the confirmation of JSS teachers in P&P, next year will not be business as usual. Kuppet power. Kuppet power.
We want to tell Teacher Service Commission, you cannot give us conflicting stories all the time that the teachers cannot be confirmed unless Parliament approves a budget. We are telling you, can you confirm our JSS teachers who are on internship?
Now, Tanzania have become the first team from Sekafa region to qualify for the 2026 Total Energies CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations after commanding a 3-1 victory over Kenya in Sunday's semi-finals in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Now, Kenya had an early chance to take control when they earned a penalty just 10 minutes into the match, but Tanzanian goalkeeper Haji Ali Abdallah redeemed himself by saving the spot kick. Ihongo Juma Luzelenga opened the scoring with a powerful header in the 90th minute before Lukman Ali Mbamba Salu doubled the lead just past the half-hour mark after breaking through the Kenyan defense. Kenya rallied late in the second half with substitute Armstrong Omondi pulling one back in the 84th minute with a strike from distance. But Tanzania held firm, and in added time, Suwan Shabani sealed the result with a third goal. The two finalists and the winner of the third place playoff will all secure places at the 2026 Under-17 AFCON. Now, defending champions Kenya Police missed a chance to move to the top of the FKF Premier League table after losing 1-0 to Shabana FC today, or rather yesterday night. That lone goal was scored by Gilbert Abala in the 29th minute. The other three matches played yesterday ended in draws. Ulinzi Stars were held to a 1-1 draw by Bandari in the early kickoff. Masita Masitu putting Ulinzi ahead in the first half before Darius Msaga leveled in the 60th minute. That score was replicated in the game between Kakamega Homeboys and KCB, with Gideon Bendeka netting for Homeboys first in the 3rd minute and Boniface Omondi leveling 9 minutes into the second half. Muranga Seal and Kariobangi Sharks are played to a goalless draw.
Darius Msaga! Darius Msaga Mnyambo, akili ni nywele, kila mmoja wanazake kichwani. Alichokifanya Darius Msaga, nywele zake.
Now, what you expected to see in the evening on your screens during news time is that EPL played yesterday of course, and this is the results. Chelsea and Arsenal, the game they managed a draw of 1-1. Of course, Liverpool beat West Ham 2-0. And lastly, the great Manchester United managed a very comfortable win against Crystal Palace of 1-2-1. Victor, I take you to Victor Olo on the other side as he steers the next part of Good Morning Kenya. My name is Giva Sumaina.
unafanya hapa kwangu asubuhi?
Unaona huku nje, mimi nilikuwa na kuangalia security.
Toka.
Uko aje huko umetoka?
Sisi tunasiti kusukuma gurutumu la maisha na nyinyi mnavuruta, ingawaje mmetuachilia.
Shida za maisha zile zimenichapa woi.
Hebu nielezee shida zako, naweza kukusaidia.
Utaniosea manguo.
Sawa.
Nini wewe?
Nikwambia utasikia balanda. Celebrity amevunjiwa nyumba.
Si ungetisha boga basi badala ya nyama. Unawezaje kuja kula pesa nyama ya mteja?
Na ni bon mbar. Ile nafaa kufanya
nyama moja ndio unashinda ukisema mawakili. Wakili wanakuwa busy.
Okay, tell me. Tell me you're not dating her. Tell me you didn't leave me to be with her. Tell me, Marcelo. Marcelo is such a good and honest man. It's obvious that he's hiding things, Aunt. Very important things at that. Okay, but what kind of things?
Just put my mother on the line, Rafaela.
I think your mother is asleep.
I don't care if she's sleeping. Wake her up, and if she doesn't answer, break down the door.
This means that Marcela belongs to me, and I'm not going to let your stepdaughter destroy what the two of us built together. I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand it. Nora! Nora!
They don't have pep meds.
President Congo, you're a doctor as well. Post-exposure meds must be taken within 24 hours. I have to find some by tonight. This is my responsibility, and it's also yours.
Dr. Ma is so unlucky. What if he really got infected with HIV? Then what?
Don't say that.
If I said I couldn't return, would you come over here to see me?
What is going on? Did something bad?
We will open a powerful dialogue on prostate cancer and the vital role that women play in early detection, support, and recovery.
Because in the frequency of passing urine, it can also cause, particularly during the night, the frequency can be more, like difficulty in passing urine, any physical obstruction in passing urine. So these are the main signs and symptoms of prostate cancer.
I had a very supportive wife, very supportive family, my children, and very supportive employer.
Yes. Let us communicate as much as we can, because they will not, in most cases, men will not start a conversation about a sickness.
Being physically active, avoiding obesity, good diet, so reducing the red meat intake.
Welcome back. It's now 5 minutes past 7 a.m. on this beautiful first day of December 2025. We thank God that we are here once again. It was just last year we were talking about 1st of December. Again, we've done 360 days, and we're glad that you're happy. We are glad that you are here with us. Karibu sana to the show. My name is Victor Lo. My guest already in studio. Let's do this. It's a beautiful Monday, of course. Today being Monday, we talk about iron politics. And let's talk about the political report card, the by-election report card. And of course, that is based on what we discussed last week. And I'm happy that my guests are back to continue where we left. It was a promise, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are. And some of your predictions actually passed. I don't know whether you are prophets of, you're prophets and prophetess. Gilbert, there's something you said about by-elections fallout. And we also talked about some of them, and it's captured on the front page of the Daily Nation. Okay? On the Daily Nation. Interestingly, all of them are men. All right? And remember what I asked you about, Wairimu? Where are the ladies in the circle? But then now, what is on the front page of the Daily Nation is by-election fallout. And it says that is it a case of double standard, where now top politicians who backed rival candidates in the just concluded by-elections are facing disciplinary actions action, including potential removal from party and parliamentary leadership positions. Sources in the broad-based government team of Kenya Kwanza and ODM reveal plans to organize a parliamentary leadership to reflect the current political realignments. So parties read the Riot Act to lawmakers who defied their leadership and campaigned for rivals in mini polls. Some of them are Kitutu Chache MP, we have got Saboti MP, Amisi Caleb, and Yugi Magwanga, who is the Homa Bay Deputy Governor, who was supporting an independent candidate. We discussed that here last week, and I was at a function where the governor was there and she really hit hard on people who are in government and supporting their rival. Kitutu Masaba MP, that is Clive Ombane, and UDA, who is Kakamega, Senator Boni Halwale, actually supported a DAP man in Malava constituency. And in Nyali, Member of Parliament Mohammed Ali backed DCP candidates in the Magarini by-election. And last but not least, Ford Kenya, that is Kabuchai MP Majimbo Kalasinga, supported independent MCA candidate in his constituency, which is quite something we're going to talk about, Kabuchai. And also DAPK, Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula rooted for UDA candidate in Malava by-election. Let me start with you. Warimu, good morning. Good to see you once again. She's an advocate of the High Court. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Okay, based on what you've seen and what you've heard, again, ladies first. We talked about this last week, and we are here talking about it. Let's talk about the by-election report card. What do you actually make of what happened last week?
First of all, happy new month to
Absolutely.
you, to the panelists, to the Good Morning Kenya team, and to Kenyans. It's a wonderful month where we get to spend time with family and spread cheer wherever we are.
Yeah.
And we are definitely starting it on the right tone. On the politics, the mini polls that were just concluded, I will say that after the very aggressive campaigns that we saw, and a lot of predictions and a lot of entertainment in those campaign trails, I will say that that an election does not end at the ballot. It ends at the point where the results are announced and how actually people take the results.
Yes.
And we can say that we are doing well for democracy because we appear to, even the disgruntled members appear to maintain peace. We have been able to see very proactive security preparedness as opposed to the reactive policing that we have seen before. So law and order has been maintained, and it's a good time to be a Kenyan at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I come back to you, Daniel. We talked about this, again captured on the front page of the Daily Nation. Perhaps let me take you through the front page of the Star, then we continue. No Xmas cheer for families as festivities loom. Oxfam reports that the cost of food has risen by 50% as we head towards the festivities. Now, Ruto also repeated his promise to make Kenya first world country. Why by-elections may determine Western politics ahead of 2027? Did you talk about that here last week? Yes, we did. And here it's been mentioned. And finally, on the front page of the Standard, scam loading. All right, that is an exclusive by the Standard newspaper. Scam loading. It's about a 21-year-old, for 21 years, a disputed 23-acre plot in Karen has swallowed billions for a hospital that exists only on paper. Despite an active court fight, forged documents and unanswered ownership claims, the Social Health Authority now wants another 50 million for a fence around land that the state may not even own, thus keeping a ghost project alive at staggering public cost. That is on the front page of the Standard, completely different from other headlines. Okay, so again, you can take a look at your favorite paper, but let me come back to you, Daniel. Let's take a look at what's happened last week. What do you make of it? Your take home, your key highlights.
Thank you.
Good morning, Kenyans. Happy to be here again.
Yes.
I want to first congratulate the Kenyans who took part in the elections in last week for ensuring that the process went on smoothly, even though we had pockets where we had some violence reported. It's regrettable that we had violence, vehicles being banned, especially in Malava constituency. We have always said that violence has no place in our civilization, in our democracy. But then I want to congratulate the police for stepping up and ensuring that there was peace. The build-up of police, the presence of police in especially Kasipul, I think was noted, and that prevented so much more violence from taking place.
Yeah.
But looking at the results, the headline says there's a by-election fallout, just like I basically predicted that ODM and UDA, the broad-based government candidates would carry the day. You could see that the broad-based candidates actually carried the day. Out of the 7 constituencies that were at play, the broad-based candidates carried the day. And the president rightfully, was celebrating, was in a celebratory mood. Even though we saw that in Barrie North, we had a very tight race. The difference was very small, less than 500. The same with the Malava. However, in elections, even if someone defeats you with 1 vote, you are going home. You cannot, you can't claim much. But then the tight race in Barrie North and in Malava basically showed that even the winning parties have a lot of work to do as we go towards 2027. These elections, Victor, was some kind of period. It showcased what we call voter behavior. So both parties, the broad-based government and the opposition, united opposition, did not know the voter behavior. So these elections was able to demonstrate to both parties how the voters are likely to behave in 2027. So then they have gone back to the drawing board to know. For example, right now, if you look at Central Kenya, the administration, the broad-based government, at least can rest easy, knowing that the united opposition, led by Gachagua, is not capable of taking over the whole of Mount Kenya. And if Gachagua is able to take, if he's going to win, it's going to be at least 50-50, or if at worst maybe 60-40. The ruling administration, will claw back, some support in Central Kenya. So that is a good indicator for especially for the ruling administration in Barrie North, but also in Malava. In Malava also, it was a very, very tight race. That is also a good lesson, for the, as you can see in some areas like Kabushai, where we had in the speaker's own ward, the candidate that he was supported actually lost. So that again takes them back to the drawing board. So those who have been sitting easy, thinking that these elections will be, will be a rollover, it's not that easy. So
it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. So they have to go back to the drawing board and do the hard work. But lastly, the voter, how do you call it? We noticed also the voter apathy. The turnout was very, very minimal. And that also demonstrates that the 2027 election is going to be a turnout election. So if you do not get your supporters to come and vote, then you are likely to lose. So both parties have a responsibility to ensure that they whip their supporters to come and vote. But lastly, we also noted, of course, about the Gen Zs. Gen Zs, of course, have been very vocal in social media, but in this election, we did not see the Gen Zs coming out to vote. Even the registration figures demonstrate that the Gen Zs actually, they did not come out en masse to rail to register as voters. And so that is also a warning to the Gen Zs that you have been making a lot of noise online, but when you're given an opportunity to register as voters, you do not come out registered voters, you do not come out to vote. We could see the people who are lining up were actually old people. Where are the Gen Zs? Where is their voice? But of course, I had some people say that Gen Zs were, in these by-elections, they were not allowed to actually register, especially where we had these by-elections. But
the
then
registration probably took a break.
Yes.
For the by-elections to happen. But then, Gilbert, when based on basically what happened last week, a lot of focus was in Malava, but nobody talked about, and actually now what is now coming out to be talked about is the win in Kabuchai. That is Kabuchai. And we all know that Ford Kenya has dominated that area for a very long time. Before we even get to that, your key highlights.
My key highlights for the just concluded by-election is that status quo has remained. Malulu Injendi for Malava was a UDA on the Ruto side. So the Kenya Kwanza, Kenya Kwanza has retained their seat. Bere North, where Ruku comes from, basically UDA has retained their seat.
Yes.
In Kasipul, that was ODM seat. They have retained it. And also in Magarini, the gentleman whose election was nullified actually retained his seat. So if I look at it from a broader perspective, not much of tilting has happened except in Kisii, where Matiang'i, parties allied to Matiang'i, basically carried the day. So I think the biggest winner in this election is Matiang'i, who has been accused of just hanging around with no political strength. He's shown that at least in his backyard, there is something that someone could reckon with. I would like to particularly focus my attention to the political messaging by Rigathi Gachagua. He has postured himself as a person who basically is a leader for the people of the mountain. And he always thrives in a very divisive political narrative that has even left some people from the mountain uncomfortable with him. And that is why, even at the time of his impeachment, a lot of people from his backyard supported, because he had touched them, uncomfortably in one way or another, particularly the women. So he continues to perpetuate the divisive agenda that might not be to his advantage in the coming 2027 general elections. And therefore, the biggest fallout, even though the Daily Nation has picked on Saboti MP and the like, I think the biggest fallout will come from the DCP, the Gachagua party side, in the sense that he has taken a trajectory that not many of his supporters or political allies have been comfortable to speak about. Now they have a reason to look back and say, gentlemen, you see here the candidate for Bere North who lost, the runners-up, was a DP candidate, not a Gachagua candidate, because he had withdrawn his candidate because he's closer to the former Attorney General. So for me, that is the biggest highlight. Also, I would like to say that the political messaging that the government had taken, particularly in Bere North, because it is Bere North where they had to show Gachagua that despite the fact that we are not together, we still reign in this part of the country. Because Usiguse Mrima man has always claimed that the Mrima is his. So in Bere North, you remember the deputy president saying, wewe Goliathi wewe, wewe Goliathi wewe. What he basically meant is that they were approaching the election from a position of we are the underdogs here, and this guy we are competing against a titan, quote unquote, and therefore when you go to the electorate as an underdog, usually they tend to sympathize and give you votes. But lastly, also, that cannot be ignored, is that resources play a lot in who wins the elections. If you look at the amount of money the government spent in the by-elections, particularly for the constituency level, it is astronomical. And therefore, we would want to say that the more you spend, the higher the chances of your candidate winning. So money and resources still reign supreme in determining the electoral outcomes in the electoral process. Yeah.
What's some of the lessons that you could learn, probably when you talk about political symbolism? Because you've talked about some of the constituencies. ODM, of course, in Kasipul retained the seat, talk of Malava, talk of Magarini. That was somehow given. But let's talk about the political symbolism that was actually that played out within those 2 months.
I would like to say that the dead still control our lives. The people of Homa Bay, for example, were voting for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is no more, but still, as they voted for Boydwere, the son to the late Were, essentially what they were saying is that this is what Baba would have wished for. The Magarini one was a Baba candidate, and they were just saying that this is what this was a Baba candidate. Yes. And we see a lot of political messaging still reflecting on the ideals of the fallen hero. In terms of UDA, as you look at essentially what they were doing, they took that, you know, we are the victims in this election. Yes. And therefore you have to please come to our side, because these people see their violence is attributable to them. And they made sure that Natembeya and his team in Malava were portrayed as politically violent, whether or not they were the perpetrators of or whether or not there was violence on both sides is a question that can be determined by the evidence that could be produced at the right time. But the government had taken the position of an underdog in this political competition so that they could have the eyes of the competitor. Look at even the choice of the candidate they chose in Malaba. He's a former MCA. And Seth Panyako is the Atuli of the nursing fraternity in the Republic. So if you look at their political heavyweightness, the MCA was an underdog, while Panyako was the big fish. But he ended up felling the man. Though the reverse is true in Mbere, because in Mbere, it is a former MCA who went up. And then we have the gentleman who, actually the musician, not the musician, they were Mutende man, the drug, the pharmaceutical entrepreneur. So I'm just looking at essentially, yeah, in short, that is how the government took it. Yeah.
Yes, Wairubu, the political symbolism that we witnessed last weekend, perhaps in the by-election?
First of all, maybe to speak on the question of the Mount Kenya kingpinship and who controls that region, it's very right and fair to state that it is not an area which we can say it's a solid voting bloc, and it's not monolithic, if we can say that. Because we have seen a lot of directions that the former deputy president has tried to offer the mountain region, and it's very true as to what we saw, that there is a resistance from some people on the ground as to whether he's really the person who's going to offer leadership in that region or not. And also, the way there was mentioned that the ruling party has got no support of that region, I think also the mini polls also provided like a dress rehearsal to show that the vote in the mountain region could easily be split into half between the opposition, the united opposition.
Is it entirely so?
I would want to imagine that the mini poll probably reflect what is on the ground.
Okay.
Yes. Hard as it is to believe, maybe.
I'm sorry, against the dictates of being a gentleman. This is just the exchange of ideas. And this has been on my mind, that the significance, the dominance of Kenya Kwanza administration in Mount Kenya will be overplayed as a result of what happened in Mbeere North. First of all, Mbeere North is in Tharaka Nithi. I think that is the least populated area, and it's on the other side. So the win by Wamuthende might not necessarily indicate that the mountain is 50-50. I would have loved to see the results of a by-election, for example, in Kiambu, Nyeri, or Muranga, for example, because those are at the height of the mountain. So for this particular one, it's good news, and it's good for political messaging, because then there is something called in communication the bandwagon effect. People like a bus that is full. That is why if you ever use public transport, you're traveling to a place and you're thinking you're the last one until you're given a ticket, and then everybody starts leaving, and then you realize the first one. So people love a train that is full. Nobody wants an empty train, an empty train. And therefore, at this particular time, the government knows that this is actually not a true test, because we had the state machinery basically camping in that particular. How many choppers were there? 14, 16, and each alleged to have been dropping, bundles of notes. But at the right time, we shall be able to see.
Could it be because the government is not, having the bragging rights because of, some of the political seats? Actually, all the seats were retained by the previous owners, quote unquote. So, as you correctly put it, there was no tilting that you can say in Kasipol, there was this party or an independent, in Malava, in Magarini, etc., etc. So, it is just a status quo. I mean, Daniel, before you take a break in under 1 minute, somebody would say that the government should not be easy right now and just go to bed and relax and say, we've won this.
Absolutely. Nobody should get easy.
Yeah.
Both government and also United Opposition, they can't get easy because the results demonstrate that this is a tight race. And so I think it's a good thing for both sides, and especially for the government, that now they have been able to see the voter behavior. It basically shows a trend, how the voters think. And so the by-election also helps to shape that voter behavior. And one thing also you need to know, I think in yesterday, I don't know how true it is, where Gachagua said that DCP will be fielding candidates in Nairobi, from governor to MPs. And so Kalonzo, because then they will be supporting Kalonzo for president. Now, because of that, when we don't have Gachagua at the top of that ticket, then chances of the votes being split are very, very high. So if Gachagua is at the top of the ticket, then you can say that he can get maybe 80 or 90% of Mount Kenya votes. But the fact that he's already saying that Kalonzo will be at the top of the ticket, that will allow the government to run away with some of the support, because people know that, and everyone knows that in this country, in Africa, and in this country especially, it is not easy. Actually, it has been proven that the person that is seated, in power, does not easily lose elections. So, and those who have tried, in 2007 when Raila tried to remove Kibaki, it actually translated into so much violence. You get my point? So, and a sitting president in Kenya, history have shown us that it is never easy. You get my point?
Yeah.
And so, some people in Mount Kenya, will want to still stick with the government, because then it will not look nice if everyone runs to the opposition. And also this explains the reasons why. Right now, do you know, with the number of ministers in this administration from central Kenya are actually 8. And so some people from Nyanza have been, of course, complaining that, okay, because now the Nyanza people have been saying that they're in government, but they only have 2. But Mount Kenya have 8. You get my point?
Yes.
So President Ruto has not completely withdrawn MPs, so ministers. So he has maintained a lot of government ministries in that area. So this is going to help him to be able to get half of the support from Mount Kenya.
Interesting. Let's take a break and we come back. I want us to talk about national level interests in what really played out in the last by-election. I mean, the national level interest, much more when you come back. Stay.
We will open a powerful dialogue on prostate cancer and the vital role that women play in early detection, support and recovery.
Increasing the frequency of passing urine. It can also cause, particularly during the night, the frequency can be more. Like difficulty in passing urine, any physical obstruction in passing urine. So these are the main signs and symptoms of prostate cancer.
I had a very supportive wife, very supportive family, my children, and very supportive employer.
Yes. Let us communicate as much as we can, because they will not, in most cases, men will not start a conversation about a sickness.
Being physically active, avoiding obesity, good diet, so reducing the red meat intake.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
And welcome back. Okay, so let's continue the discussion. Wairimu, let's talk about national level interests. The by-election perhaps came at a time when people wanted to flex their muscles. You go to the gym, come back and say we are ready. A lot of resources, let's just say, got deployed in different areas. We saw that. In fact, to some extent, the country towards the by-election, it was so charged, it was almost we are going for a general election. What was the national level interest that was there in that by-election?
You're right. There was a lot of attention to the mini poll, unlike maybe those that have been done before.
Yes.
And like Wakili said here the last time when we were here, President Ruto is out to see what anyone who claims to bring value to his team will actually bring. So everyone, in the words that are you being used, kila mtu alijituma, to make sure that you go out there, you persuade as many voters to vote for a candidate that aligns with the government of the day. So I don't think it's time that the government should actually rest and think that all is well, because I'm sure that even the opposition has regrouped to also go ahead and recalculate their moves and see what they need to do better ahead of the 2027 elections. Yes, but ideally there was a lot of resources that were put into these polls to ensure that they try and persuade, because everything is about perceptions, to try and persuade the government of the day or the Kenyans that this is the position that has been taken moving forward into the elections. Yes.
Okay. Gilbert.
Yeah. In terms of the national level interest in these elections, you realize that Mr. Farouk Kibet literally camped in Malava until the elections were done. And I'm sure when he went back to report to his boss, he told him, see, you trusted me with this and I brought it back. It is only at the tail end that we saw Mudavadi go there. Wetangula had started making appearances, but I know that particular seat was giving him a lot of headache. I think someone had said that the president was actually hoping that at least he would lose one of the electoral seats so that he has a reason to offload some of the people who are viewed as literally load on his shoulders. For instance, it has been argued that Mudavadi may not bring so much political strength to the president now that he's actually part of the presidency. Same as the other people who basically just joined his government. So in terms of value, the headache that was there, the people who have, the political heavyweights from Western Kenya who have identified themselves with Ruto, based on the pre-election pact that they signed, there has been talk that perhaps are these people really of the value that they promised they are going to bring? Remember, they had signed something 30-30 so that they are given. They were never given. Maybe there was the realization that really, what is really your weight? And as time has moved, there has been a lot of erosion with people who have been aligned to Mudavadi, for example, leaving him and straight away aligning with the president. So for them, I think the biggest headache continues on Mudavadi himself, because if he was really a force to reckon with, then the margin should not have been that small. You can imagine after you spent your everything, then you get a margin of, was it about 1,000 or less? Something like that. And the same as Wetangula. So that, for me, the national interest purely rests on the value proposition attached to the two gentlemen from that side.
Okay, let's talk about the issue of power, visibility, and narratives. When you talk about that, almost everybody, Daniel, wanted to get that visibility out there. The power that was used and the narrative that was actually coined towards that by-election. How did it play out? I mean, these are some of the three pillars that must be taken care of in politics.
Yeah, of course. Visibility is very, very important in politics. This election was an opportunity for the former Deputy President Gachagua to brand himself and brand his new party, the DCP. So even as much as he didn't do well, but it has been able to brand himself. And you saw him yesterday taking a victory lap in Kariobangi. You know, and he's already claiming that Nairobi will be a DCP zone. I don't know how true that is, but that is the kind of visibility that he has been able to get. So the elections, just like any other election, it's a real research. It is not an opinion poll, it's a real research.
Yes.
You are able to see, in real time, what the voters are thinking and where the direction is going. Also, for the current deputy president, he used these elections, especially in Mbeere North, to defend his position. His position was at risk, because then the fact that the president sent Farouk to go to Malava and Farouk delivered, to say now you go to Mbeere North and deliver. And you saw him, the deputy president actually camping in Mbeere North and taking off, he went all the way.
Yes.
And always fire, see fire, and he was able to demonstrate that he is a worthy assistant to the president. Because right now what the president needs are people who will actually help him to deliver two-term. It's just about two-term. So of all the people that are surrounding the president, who can actually help him to deliver two-term? And I think the Deputy President Kindiki has demonstrated that he can be able to go, toe-to-toe with Gachagua in the scramble for Mount Kenya vote. So that also demonstrates, power, in as far as Mount Kenya is concerned. Now, to Gachagua. Actually, Gachagua, even though he's trying to have a brave face, but he's the biggest, for me, he's the biggest loser in this whole arrangement, because Gachagua came all the way from New York. He cut short his trip in New York to come and campaign for these, in America, to come and campaign for these elections. And he has been saying that these elections will show how 2027 will play out. Get my point? So usually in politics, if you say this is what will happen and you fail to deliver, so he has ended up with a slap on his own face because then he was not able to deliver a beating to the president as he promised.
Yes.
So I think for him, he now has to wear a humble jacket. Even when he's meeting with the United Opposition, because remember, when he's been meeting with these opposition leaders, he has been, saying that I control the 7 million Mount Kenya votes. But this election showed that Gachagua doesn't carry the Mount Kenya votes in his linear.
Okay. Okay, you're talking about Mount Kenya, but let's talk about how old the DCP party is. 6 months old.
Yes.
And we have got 3 seats already for him.
MCA seats.
Exactly. No, that is Kariobangi. That is, let me get it right. That is Kisa Ward, Kariobangi, and Narok Town. He must be a happy man wherever he is.
If you look at Kariobangi, I would not, for me, I would not really...
Which is actually unprecedented.
I know, but Kariobangi, the reason why actually, he won in Kariobangi was because there was a fallout within the ODM UDA.
Yes.
And so we had, for example, a Luya candidate who was dissatisfied within ODM, went separate ways, and then the ODM candidate also went separate. So Gachagua ended up, taking advantage of the fallout between the broad-based arrangement in Kariobangi, and that's how he won.
So a win is a win.
So a win is a win, even if you win by, I agree, win is a win, even win by one vote, it's still a win. So and that's one of the reasons why Gachagua was there to have a victory lap in Kariobangi.
Yeah.
But I would not attribute, I would not give Gachagua 100% in Nairobi. If you look at, for example, the arithmetic, we have a lot of other tribes within Nairobi, the Luos, the Luyas, even, there are quite a lot. So you cannot claim victory in the whole of Nairobi as a result of what happened in Kariobangi.
Okay. Well, I mean, look at that. 6 months old, and you have got 3 seats. In certain areas, when we talk of Narok, people suspect it was either going to be ODM or UDA.
Yes.
Alipita katikati yao. In politics, the way you play your cards very well, the way Daniel has said, he took advantage of the injured animal in the jungle, and he pounced. DCP has a candidate in Kariobangi North, and people said that, it was Sifuna that did not deliver. We all know how he made rounds in Kariobangi North, and that did not go to ODM. I mean, let's just be fair to DCP.
Well, in all fairness, maybe we can go back to 2021 when we had the Kiambaa by-elections. You remember UDA was also fairly new, and Kiambaa is a region where Jubilee was the dominant party.
Yes.
And without going so much into the statistics of how that by-election went, UDA took the day. And I think what the former deputy president was hoping was a vote in Mbeere North, preferably, or most parts of the country where they fielded a DCP candidate that will shift the political image as the by-election in 2021 did. Because I think, if I'm not wrong, when he finally got to announce the new party, DCP, he said that they were also going to call for by-election within the mountain region because they felt so confident that the new party that he was launching would actually carry the entire region.
Has that, well, he would say that he supported a DP candidate. That DCP did not have a candidate in the mountain, or basically in Mbeere North. Can that really change the entire narrative about him in the mountain, now that he's been saying that he's been the kingpin? I'll come back to the issue of kingpinship and the fight. Yes.
It does. It does, because we all know who exactly was most aggressive on that campaign trail over there. So ideally, let's give it to him. There is a new party. He has 3 victory seats. So we can give it to him for the aggressive campaigning, but also we may also want to consider that there is growing discontent among the people of Kenya on the key issues of unemployment, rage against the president, and all that. It was expected that in these by-elections, we would actually show the government exactly how upset people are with the ruling party and the government, essentially. Like we've always said, we are always calling out on people to come out and register as voters, to come out and vote. That was not ideally the case, because especially among the young people, the turnout was very low. And a vote is just like a gun. When you've placed it on the table, it's neither good or bad, but its usefulness is in the person that handles it. So if you cannot cast your vote to vote for a member of parliament or a leader or a politician who is actually going to deliver, then that vote is as good as you get to handle it. So on the issues of the deputy president, he has really tried, and he has especially ridden on the fact that people are disgruntled with the government. However, the government also threw in its weight, and he has a long way to go.
He has a long way to go.
They still do have a long way to go as the united opposition.
Okay. Gilbert.
Yeah.
In terms of messaging, as a strategic expert, a communications expert, what was the messaging? The narrative that was coined, okay, with no regard to any, constituency. But what was the narrative? What was the selling point in all this?
Before I get to the narrative, I would like to say that Mgala moe na haki yake umpe. The fact of the matter is that Gachagua has actually formed impressively well in the by-election, much to the surprise of many people, particularly for his win in Narok. We are training our eyes in Mbeere, but I think his win in areas that he had never existed before really means something for him, particularly because they are also at the mashinani level. It is a good thing for him. 2, these by-elections are happening in the first term of Ruto's presidency. The amount of energy he has put to retain what he ordinarily had, what he ordinarily should not even, what is yours, you should not be struggling to keep with the effort he did. It means things are not so well in that particular place. I would also like to state that if you look at the first terms of all the Kenyan presidents we've had since 2002, it can be said that they lose those elections. So the hardest part for Ruto's presidency now is this first term. The things are a lot easier when the term has been, the 10-year term has been done. So I know people are comfortable with the fact that there has been contention around who actually wins and then the incumbent ends up winning. But things cannot be like that forever. In 2007, it has been said that Kibaki did not win that election. In first time as well, 2017, the Maraga nullified that election because it was not free and fair. So the first time in Ruto's administration, if you were to go back to history, maybe those facts are also staring at him. So he cannot rest with the assurance that in Africa, the incumbent always goes to the second term unhinged or unput up with so much ease. In terms of the political messaging that we are seeing in the country, if you said we should not look at any region in particular, but you see, messaging is usually contextual.
You're right.
The same message you pass in Magarini is not the same message you give to Mbere, the same message you'll give to my brothers from Homa Bay. In Homa Bay particularly, they had taken the position of, you know how the former MP died?
Yes.
Anyone who is not with him should tell us who killed him. They are looking at who is Russia's.
Is that part of whipping the public emotion?
Whipping the public emotion.
Yes.
And saying that we should know actually who actually killed this particular gentleman. Of course, in their hearts, they knew that the killers could have been people for other particular reasons. But the fact that you are not with him, you could tell us who then made sure that he never existed past the day he lived. If you go to Mbere, as I said before, Mbere, the government had taken the position of an underdog.
Yes.
Where that Goliath he was saying, it was my first time actually hearing the DP making reference to Goliath. He basically meant that, you know, David was a small man, a little man who basically just had a sling. And that sling is what brought down Goliath. And he was referring to that gentleman, Wewe Goliath, wewe, like, you know I'm David. That's essentially what he was saying, that I am small, but I have God's blessings. I am small, but my path is as clear as David. So the government was basically just took that particular position where members would like to see them as sisi ndio watu wadogo, carrying the narrative but in a different format of the hustler narrative. Unajua hustler ni mtu, sisi tunakula what remains after everybody else has eaten. Lastly, Bwana Victor and my fellow panelists, it would be fair to we hit Gen Z so much in terms of their lethargy, but the areas where by-elections were held, according to elections regulations, you know that you cannot register new people when a by-election has been called, because essentially you're just doing a replacement and you want to do it at factors constant. You don't want to introduce an unfair advantage to the new or the old competitors who are there. If you look at the registration in Nairobi, Nairobi is the epitome of Gen Z movement, because I think this is where the Gen Z demonstration was highest. And if you look at the voter registration, I've seen that Nairobi is actually leading in terms of how many people have registered. The onus is on the IEBC to ensure that they are felt everywhere, because even myself in my constituency, I don't know where they are. I just checked my voting status and realized it's still where it was. So I think there needs to be a lot of messaging around Gen Z movement or Gen Z registration, so that we do not say you don't come out to vote, but the Gen Z wakes up in the morning and he does not even know where IEBC is. The reason being that we are afraid that if we ramped up these numbers, then these numbers are going to hurt us in 2027. So the messaging around registration is actually very connivingly packaged to make Gen Zs look like they are not playing their part. And therefore they continue sleeping, because if you say I can't, yes, indeed I can't. That I see is a very tactful, the conniving kind of messaging to ensure that the Gen Zs do not come and tilt the numbers in the 2027.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's come back to this. Can we entirely say that the by-election is going to determine what's ahead of us in 2027? Of course, having in mind, Wairimu, the political dynamics that we see in this country. Today, Kenya, we will wake up to a different, something new, totally. So can we blanketly say that, yes, the by-election is done and dusted, and so this is how it's going to be in 2027?
No, we cannot say that, especially in a country like this,
right,
where politics are very dynamic. Yeah, a lot can happen and can change in a day. So I don't think it will be fair or wise for either the government or the opposition to comfortably say this is where we are and this is how things are looking like. It should be work that is work in progress. Yeah, let the government continue delivering on their promises and let the opposition continue calibrating what needs to be worked on.
Yes.
Yes.
What's in the mind of Wanjiku? Again, politically speaking, Daniel, the internal political dynamics, of course, ahead of 20, which is just a few months. For the politicians, there is no time left. Yeah. To be honest, no time at all. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for Wanjiku, of course, they are waiting for government to continue delivering. And that's one of the reasons why you see the president is outdoing himself. The other day he launched the Nakuru-Ironi Road. You know, for him, actually in the last few months or year, he has to demonstrate to Kenyans that he's actually working and delivering for the people. So for me at this stage, and especially when we actually don't know who the opposition leaders, candidates will be, you know, we cannot say for a fact that these by-elections will determine how this is going to go. But of course, the president is running away with the narrative. You know, as I said, winning is winning, even if we win by one. Already the president has won. Imagine, the president has won in 7 of the constituencies that were at play. So that is already sinking. That needs to sink. That you may be, the opposition may be having a lot of promises and more, but the fact is that they lost this election. And winning 3 MCA seats, you know, MCA, by the way, cannot give you a good trend on how this is going to go. But the fact that the president and his coalition, the broad-based coalition, has won this, he's already running away with the narrative. And so if he combines that with development projects and the government machinery, this election in this country is not just about voting, or it's also government machinery, security, agents, you get my point? So I can tell you for a fact, if you compare President Ruto as it is today and the opposition, you get my point? The people in the opposition, I think he still has a competitive edge. He has an edge, and so at this moment, unless the united opposition, I don't know who they are going to, but you know the trend is that that they are looking at, like, you know, basing on what Gachagua said yesterday, that they will most likely support Kalonzo, and then the others will follow. But then, knowing the president as someone who has been in politics for a long time, and someone who is able to scheme, I can tell you for a fact that we will have more than 1 or 2, 3 opposition candidates in that election. And if that happens, that will give him an edge, and he will, you know, comfortably or uncomfortably, you know, ride on, you know, to win his second term. Yeah.
Okay. Let's come back to this. Werimo. Now, we have, let's narrow it down to western side of Kenya, which is quite important here. The big boys of the Luhya land came out and fought amongst themselves. And we all saw what happened. Of course, Malava retained the seat, Maluli Njendi, but then Natembeya had to come all the way from Trans Nzoia to Malava, and then there was an upset here and there. Let's talk about Kabushai. That while you were concentrating on Malava, then Kabushai ilikuwa naenda.
Yeah, that also goes into seeing what over putting too much attention in one region can do to another area. So
was Wetangula so comfortable with Ford Kenya?
Possibly
in
he was
Bungoma?
very, very, very confident that being his backyard,
yes,
Ford Kenya would automatically carry the day. Unfortunately, the messaging was different from the ground, and he probably needs also to put in a lot of that area also needs, I mean, we cannot have someone like Wetangula being the Speaker of the National Assembly unable to deliver an area that is within his backyard. So that also calls to a lot of reflection as to what ought to have been done. Because clearly there was a lot of focus on the other areas and no focus on that area. So is there a growing resistance against also him as the leader of Ford Kenya, or the party itself is also losing grip of the area? Yeah.
Because again, I remember, was it yesterday or the other day, when you hear Member of Parliament Fernand Baraza, yes, saying that, I think he spoke in Bukusu or something, but he alluded to the fact that Didymus Baraza, I'm talking about Didymus Baraza, he alluded to the fact that the only situation now is to start rethinking about come 2027. Remember the Tawi movement?
Yes.
The Tawi movement?
Yeah.
And Natembeya has completely camped in Bungoma.
Yes.
And the Tawi movement. Can you attribute that win to Tawi movement?
Yes, we can. And I would like to pick up from where Wakili has left.
Right.
On what this means to Wetangula and whether he delivered or not. First, Malava is in Kakamega County.
Yes.
And in terms of the voter dynamics, Kakamega has essentially been an ODM zone. Most of the MCAs and MPs have been split between ODM predominantly and sports of then Jubilee and UDA, and then occasionally you have Amani, but Amani was largely concentrated in Vihiga. I happen to understand, having lived in Bungoma, a bit of the dynamics of that area. Things are not well for Wetangula in Bungoma, and the Tawi movement would be something that he'll have to really fight to even retain if he were to come back and vie again for any position. Reason being, even though Natembeya is a governor in Trans Nzoia, Trans Nzoia is essentially a cosmopolitan area where most Bukusus moved. It has Kalenjin, it has Kisses, but the bedrock of Natembeya, he is born in Bungoma. He's a Bukusu from Bungoma. Just the same way Wetangula is a Bukusu from Bungoma. Now, there are issues that have happened in Bungoma that have not left Bungoma people to rest with the assurance that we can trust or perhaps continue giving this guy unhinged support that we had given him. One is the sale, what they call the sale of Nzoia sugar, that has been taken over by Rai. Rai has taken, and everybody had been sent home. And after everyone has been sent home, there are a lot of workers, Waindis, who have been brought into the company to do the work that was ordinarily being done by the people of Bungoma. And they are saying, if this man is for us, why did he leave our chuma to go to these other people? And this is where Natembeya has been coming and saying, if in 2027 we are going to revert, these ills that have happened to our people are not going to happen again. And the test of this was in the MCA seat that he lost, because Majimbo Kalasinga, who is essentially his MP, I'm not sure if he's going to run on Ford Kenya in the coming general election. So for me, that is how I am looking at Bungoma. And the Bukusu people have always identified with Ford Kenya because it is where Masinde Muliro, from Masinde Muliro, it came to Musikari Kombo, and then it came to Moses Wetangula.
Way forward.
Now, way forward for me is an advice to the Gachagua people that if Gachagua continues with the political narrative that he has always had, where it is, for me, it is my vendetta with President Ruto, by all means, he's going to lose big time, because politics is very fluid. If you do not adapt very fast, mending fences with people who were initially your enemies. He's not doing it. He's stuck to the past, and the past will actually bring him down. What the opposition people have to do now is to have Gachagua as a support system. But if he continues leading from the ground and talking down over them and releasing statements that are very, very, they enhance tribal bigotry of that has been attributable to the people of the mountain, where it is us and everybody else doesn't matter, then they continue to lose, and the people begin to trust President Ruto's camp because at least they see safety there.
Yeah.
So Gachagua must revise his political messaging and see what value can bring to the opposition as a support system and not as the leading presidential candidate, because he knows he cannot buy.
Okay.
And that is my...
Okay. Wait a minute. What's the way forward now?
Way forward as we move away from the mini polls campaigns and to the outcomes and the road to 2027. The newly elected leaders, we are, as Wanjiko, we are waiting for service delivery. It's not late. They can still do a lot of work on the ground, and we are here for it. Mine is to keep advocating for peace, responsible messaging by the politicians. We are really hoping that we do not return back to, because it's a rather very charged moment, politically speaking, that we do not release very careless sentiments that are likely to agitate people and leave us reopening some scars that we have tried to heal from 2007. Yeah, so mine is to hope that things will shape up well even as we head to the 2027.
Great. Daniel, I'm looking at something here. I don't know whether you're aware of this, and whether Wairimu and Gilbert, whether you've seen this. BuyKenya.org. I've just stumbled upon this website here, and it looks good. Your gateway to discover and buy authentic Kenyan products. The keyword is authentic. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, so this is...
Are you aware of this?
Yes, basically.
It looks good.
As you know, before I joined Global Peace Foundation,
yes,
I used to work as a trade promotion staff official for the government of Korea. And so Korea basically taught me about how to promote trade.
Yes.
So Korea had buykorea.org. So then what I did as a way of giving back to my country, I established BuyKenya.org to give Kenya an opportunity to be able to promote and sell their products to the global market. So it is a platform where Wanjiko, the mamamboga in the village, the mamamboga, you know, the Juakali guy in Machakos, the hawkers in the street, you know, you don't have to restrain yourself with the physical trade. You can actually go there, list your product for free, and it will be available. If someone in Belgium is looking for tuna or for omena,
yes,
you know, you can actually be able to sell that through Buy Kenya. So it's something that I've been able to come up with. And so also related to that, the president, and also related to the coming elections.
Right.
The president has been saying that he wants to make Kenya a first world country. Now, you cannot make, one of the ways of making Kenya a first world country is actually enabling Kenyans to trade. You know, we have so many products being made, of course, in Kenya, but they don't have adequate market. And so if we can focus on trade, because right now we are only looking at diaspora as the foreign exchange earner. But if we can be able to sell more of our coffee, sell more of our tea, sell more of our sports, you know, sell more, then we can be able to actually achieve. And right nowadays, we don't talk about first world country. The president should be talking about making Kenya a developed nation.
It's a very interesting. Gilbert, you can even actually open it. BuyKenya.org. Even you, Irimo, BuyKenya.org. It's an interesting. It's where Kenya. It actually says Kenya's premier international trade platform that helps manufacturers, producers, exporters, and traders to access the local, regional, and global market. This is interesting. And actually it has been broken down. We have got energy, electrical and electrical applied, food and beverage. We have got fresh produce sector, metal and allied. This is so broad.
Yes.
It is so broad. I mean, you want to take Kenya outside to the global
Absolutely,
platform?
because we need, there's so much that Kenya can produce. I'll give you an example. Do you know that every year we import 500 billion worth of food? You get my point?
Yes.
Yet we can actually, if we can produce, our own food, that 500 billion that we used to buy food from outside the country can actually be sunk into the economy. You get my point?
Right.
So what we need to do is to, stimulate local production, stimulate the manufacturing industry, and be able to stimulate our export, make use of tariffs to ensure that we encourage exporters to sell more. When the president visits the international countries, he needs to accompany himself, not just with hangovers, who will just joyride us, but he needs to go with manufacturers of what is made in Kenya. Who are the ones selling avocado? Who are selling what? So that we can be able to, and also the commercial attaches that we send outside the country. When they go out there, the ambassadors, their primal duty is to sell the products that are made in Kenya.
Legitimately.
Yes.
And that is Buy Kenya. I mean, it's an interesting space. Just stumbled upon it and was told that you are responsible for this. I had to take advantage because of here and talk about it's authentically Kenyan. So you can go there and, I mean, just take a look at that. Gilbert, you like it?
Yes, I like it.
Wairimu?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Made by yours truly here. All right. Thank you so much. That is Wairimu Gatachu, who is an advocate of the High Court. Again, ladies first. She's an advocate of the High Court. Thank you for coming. And of course, Daniel Jumo Mondi, who is the Africa Regional Representative for the Global Peace Foundation. Asante sana for coming. BuyKenya.org. And of course, Gilbert Awino, who is the strategic communications expert and is a lawyer and also a political analyst. Okay, let's take a break. Tukirudi, we are flying over mpaka Kisumu, enjoying Simon Achola there. Stay with us. Good morning.
Nini unafanya hapa kwangu asubuhi?
Unaona huku nje, mimi nilikuwa na kuangalia security.
Toka.
Uko aje huko umetoka?
Hajiji tunasiti kusukuma gurutumu la maisha na nyinyi mnavuruta, ingawaje mmetuachilia.
Ashita sa maisha sile simenichapa woi.
Hebu nielezee shida zako, naweza kukusaidia.
Utaniosea manguo?
Sawa.
Nini hivi?
Kwambia utasikia palanda. Selembuliti amevunjiwa nyumba.
Si ungeitisha boga basi badala ya nyama. Unawezaje kuja kula pesa nyama ya mteja?
Na ni bone maro. Ile nafaa kufanya
nyama moja ndio unashinda ukisema mawakili. Wakili wanakuwa busy.
They don't have pep meds.
President Congo, you're a doctor as well. Post-exposure meds must be taken within 24 hours. I have to find some by tonight. This is my responsibility, and it's also yours.
Dr. Ma is so unlucky. What if he really got infected with HIV? Then what?
Don't say that. If I said I couldn't return, would you come over here to see me?
What is going on? Did something bad?
Good morning, and thank you very much indeed for joining us. This is the Western Spectrum, a program that comes to you every Monday. Every week, it's discussing issues that affect issues of people from this particular region. But more importantly, today is December 1st, so we'll be discussing matters HIV, AIDS, and of course that has been a topic that has been on the people's lips for the last for more than a decade. And of course we continue to have it. Today, of course, the world or the country joins the world in celebrating World AIDS Day. And of course we'll be looking at the gains that we made over the years, and of course the drawbacks in the wake of cutting of funding from the US and other donor partners, but also what as a country we can do in terms of ensuring that indeed we leverage on the gains that we made over the years, but more so importantly, how do we find local solutions? On my set, of course, we have two gracious ladies, Lucy Okat from National Syndemic Disease Control Council, and of course we also have Sharon, who is a community person. She deals, she's an activist, human rights activist, but also directly engages people living with HIV, but also actively engages matters GBV and other related matters. So they'll be delving deeper in the issue of HIV, how we can actually navigate through the pitfalls and of course the gains, and more importantly ensuring that this country moves forward. Statistics will be released today, of course, are already out there. But being the December 1st, my tradition has always been that I test on December 1st, so then I get to understand my status. I don't know what to do on December 1st in terms of just ensuring that you are part and parcel of this journey of fighting or gaining ground on HIV AIDS. I will be asking my panelists to tell me what they do on December 1st. But before we delve into that, the biggest question to you, Lucy, is testing is the first step. And looking at the statistics that have actually been released, 3,000 new infections this year.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Basically, what I can say, it really takes us back where we were from. Because basically we are supposed to reduce the new infections. But you can see the infections are still increasing. So it's really a challenge to us. And we really need to know where these infections are coming from. Because we have a target. By 2030, we need to close the two tabs. We have two tabs that needs to be closed. We have the first tab of new infections, and we have the other one for deaths. So if we can't close for the new infections, then we are not doing well. So by 2030, we need to close those tabs, and the new infections, we have to stop them. Mothers, we don't need children to be born with HIV. We don't need any infections from any other person. So we really need to work hard with the community, with the partners, with everybody involved. Yes. 3,000, the number. When you look at it from a distance, or when you mention 3,000, it looks a number that is actually far away from us. Yes.
But when you break it down, that simply means we are dealing with about 10 people per day being infected.
Yes.
What are we doing wrong?
I think we are doing better in terms of advocacy. But I think the community, the society, the way we are taking things, we are supposed to be tested. People are not going for testing. We are supposed to adhere to our drugs. People are not adhering to our drugs. We are supposed to take prevention measures like condom programming. We have to use condom. People are not doing that. So basically, my side, I can say we are not doing that bad, but the community now, the people we are reaching, they are not also helping us to reach where we are supposed to reach. Because 3,000, 10 person, in 10 people, you have to get one person, new infection. So basically, there's something that is going wrong with the community. If it is awareness, we've done that. We've gone to schools. We've gone to churches. The number one, the awareness. In a same way, lack of knowledge leads to death. So we've really tried to reach people. However, the way they take it, it's really, I don't know what's happening to the community.
Sharon, let me bring you into the conversation.
Yes.
Awareness is something that we cannot even talk about in Kenya, because that has been done over the years. And over the years, that is something that we cannot acknowledge, that indeed players in the sector have actually done much in terms of creating awareness. However, teething problems persist. One of them, as she has aptly put it, is the fact that people are missing on their drugs. People are not testing. Those that are actually tested are not adhering to the drugs regimen. But sad also is that young people are not using condoms.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Simon. Just to put it the way, just to add on whatever she has said, we realize that the age that is having more infections at the age of about, let's say, 25 to 60 or around 18 to 60, AYPs and young people. So between that age bracket, there's this mentality of it's okay, like they've taken life that easily, and in most cases, when you follow up on, I'm doing some program with AfroCamp. So as a community facilitator, we do we call those who had missed their appointments. We also look for those to follow up who are at some point they've interrupted their treatment. Nowadays we don't call them defaulters, we call them treatment interrupters.
Yes.
So at some point you find that a number of them have missed their appointments, then they end up being a loss to follow up. So by the time you're following up, yes, there are those excuses that they give, but in real sense there's also an aspect of denial. Some of them don't want to come out openly and maybe access their medication. And some of them feel like it is okay. Like, I'm sorry to use the Gen Z we have now. I'm also a Gen Z, yes. So these are the things we go through. When we're in our support groups, our sessions, you hear them talk freely. Because in most cases, when you want to hear their views, you behave like them. So it's fortunate that I'm one of them, and you can hear them share their views.
What do they talk about?
They have those reasons, those weird or funny reasons. I can tell.
We want to listen to those weird and funny reasons. Yes.
Okay, in most cases wengine wanasema akitumia CD aoni kama ako sawa, ama there are those who say they are allergic to it. There are those who say they are not fully getting satisfied when they use the protection. So in this regard unapata sasa mtu ana risk na anaingia kwa hii nini ya kwanza kumeza madawa.
Yes.
Then at the same time, you find that we have people in a certain group where they feel like that those beliefs, kuna zile zenye mtu una find someone anakufinya mwili ndaone anasema huyu yako sawa.
They have their own way of testing.
Yes, they have their own way of testing.
Very funny way of thinking.
So, yes.
Let me just cut you short so then I bring her into this conversation. We tend to find reasons to actually not test, to actually not use condoms, and to actually not take drugs.
Yes.
How do you navigate that?
Basically, let me first of all talk about the adolescents and young people. This is the area where the infections are very high. And this is the area where I think, number one, the knowledge on them. There was a time I was interacting with the adolescents. And they have no knowledge on condom use. And then when you check on the girls, especially the girls, there's a study that was done called Kenya Modes of Transmission Study. The adolescent girls, the infection rate is very high.
Lucy, they have no knowledge on condom use.
They have no knowledge on anything. But condom use, they don't even have that power to negotiate for condom use. That power to negotiate for condom use. For when an adolescent girl or a youth girl comes to you, with them, so long as the man says, let us use without, that is it. And then again, these adolescents, unajua that is the group, even if you go back to your youth, like me, if I go back to the youth, this is the time we find that sasa tumefika. We are the adolescents and the young people. We can't listen even to our parents. This is the time that we want to go to the clubs. This is the time that we want also to test their alcohol and drug substance abuse. This is the time that they don't want to listen. They are just on their own. So if they are not taken through, or if they are not washed, then there is a problem. The new infection will rise. And especially that condom use. The adolescents and young people, the girls, they don't have that power even to negotiate for that condom use. So basically, and then testing again, the stigma of testing. They don't want to go for testing. They don't want to take drugs. They are just there. And then unapata, they fear pregnancy more than HIV. When you go to the pharmacies on Mondays, a lot of guys are on the line taking the
emergency pills.
Yes. However, they don't care about the infection, if they got infected or what. The only thing they ask for is the P2, but not even the PEP or anything else. Yeah.
Let me take you back to the power to negotiate use of condoms.
Yes.
What exactly is happening? Because I want to believe if two age mates have agreed on having intercourse, right? They are likely to negotiate on how they are actually going to go about it, right?
Yes.
However, it is difficult for intergenerational relationships.
Yes.
Is it part of the problem, just before we come to Sharon?
Yes, it is part of the problem. You find, like, for example, me and you, we are adults. We are more than, like me, I'm 40. So it's...
You look that.
No. I'm always a Gen Z. I stay with Gen Zs in the house. So I'm 40. I have that power. I can tell you, use a condom or don't use a condom. But for a girl who is between 15 and 24, this is the time they want, go to the universities or colleges. This is the time they want sponsors to sponsor them for their lifestyle. This is the time they want a boyfriend. They want somebody to go out with. You can even have an adolescent girl who is having 5 or more than relationships. Then that girl wants money from you. That girl has no power to negotiate for condom. You know, her aim is to get money. She will not negotiate for condom use. She will not. And then they also lack knowledge. You know, sometimes you cannot negotiate, but you have that knowledge that I can use a female condom. If the man refuses, I have a female condom in me. So that negotiation of condom power, it's basically a challenge among adolescents who are girls between 15 to 24. Yeah.
Triple threat, of course, gender-based violence and teenage pregnancy is just, and of course, new infection is part of what she's actually alluding to, the fact that, most girls don't have the ability to actually negotiate for use of condom, and those that would actually want to negotiate, they are likely to meet violence from their spouses or be denied some of the freebies that they expect from them. How do we ensure that we fight triple threat and ensure that we empower these girls so that then they can actually be on the forefront in terms of just negotiating, saying, yes, we are in it, but we must use protection?
Okay. How to ensure that this works out?
Yes, and if they not use protection, right, they can actually seek post-exposure prophylaxis the following day.
Yes. Okay, I will first say an empowered woman may have a choice of what to do and what not to do. So this comes in economically. When they are economically empowered, they are physically okay, they are financially stable. At least you have something that you can be doing so that you do not.
And also going to school.
Yes.
Yes, and we're talking about university students, right?
Not only university students. Education is very important. Just going to school. Make sure you go to school. Have something here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that can guide you on what to decide, what to do, and at what time, and at which place is right for that thing to be done. So when this lady is empowered, they have some knowledge with them, they are able to make some decisions. But kama ni mtutu wako pale, ile anaambiwa watu wanasema, si alishasema. You see that you are left with no option, you can't even defend yourself. But if a lady or a girl is empowered, they are able to get their own money. They're able to get their own resources. They're not si lazima wadepend kwa mtu ndo wapate kupata vitu. They're able to stand on their own. This lady can stand on their own. Akwambie, no, I don't feel this is okay with me, or this is okay. They can give consent in the right way. It's not just about giving consent kwa sababu ya hiyo time imekam, lakini unaona ni kama, if I give consent to this, how is it going to bring an impact into my life, either positively or negatively? So when I would greatly advocate for economical empowerment for our girls and for our women, so that they have that option to choose what is right for them. So you find many of our people are left with in dilemma where they can't choose between the right and the wrong. Ile anategemea mtu lazima mlete ndo haishi. So you find them falling into GBV because they have no option. Hapo analishwa, anafanyiwa everything. So anaona akitoka atakuwa naenda wapi? Unaona? So they are left with no option. Ako hapa GBV na mkula huko. Hapo ako na mimba. the same time ako infected.
How do
Then
you-
our young girls again, some of them are left with no option. The cost of living, the life they are living, poverty is also a factor where they feel like if I go into marriage, I might be better off than the place I am now. So when they're getting into that marriage, they are not economically empowered. They have nothing that they can do to bring something on the table. The same time, you've gone into that marriage out of maybe stress that you are passing through in your home. You're getting married to this man who is not also ready for that responsibility. You get pregnant there, you get infected. In the process, GBV comes in. So you find you have no option but just to stay in. Because unaona ukitoka sasa utafanya.
Utafanya namna gani?
Yes.
Lucy, how do we bring everyone on board in terms of what she's talked about, GBV, triple threat,
Yes.
and of course new infections? How do you bring everyone on board?
Okay.
And I'm talking about community
Yes.
elders, or opinion leaders,
Leaders,
the
yes.
youth, and of course players in the sector in terms of professionals.
Okay.
So that then we can actually fight this big monster that is before us.
Yeah, first of all, the triple threat that we are talking about. And when we talk about the triple threat, we talk about the teen pregnancies, we talk about the gender-based violence, and we talk about the new HIV infections among adolescents and young people. Bringing people in board is very, very important. And especially when we started this triple threat, we decided to engage the community elders and the faith-based organizations, and also hao watu wa askari hao inaitwaje, the APs, those ones. Why? Not the APs, but that government that includes the chiefs, the chiefs administration. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Ngao. So we involved the Ngaos. The reason why we wanted to bring the Ngaos in, remember at the community level we have the elder mlango, wanaitwanga mlango, the elder, the village elder.
Yes.
We have the village elder, we have the sub chiefs, we have the chiefs. And remember, the same community, this is where the triple threat is happening. I remember, let me just give you a story. Back when I was still in primary school, I went to a village school. That is in Barturo, in the village, very village. I was the only girl who completed class 8 without getting pregnant. And sometimes I always say it was because of my mother in the village. My mother was so tough on me. I used to sleep with my mother till the end of my school, the same house, to sleep in the same house. So in the village, you find that teen pregnancy is very common. But we have to involve everyone. And I always say we start with the parents. If you start with the parents, then we are going to reduce this triple threat. Because the parent, number one, parent has to be a friend to the child. Because remember, even this teen pregnancy, what is it contribute? What are the factors? These girls are going for older men, or their teachers, or the policemen, or the people within the village. Why? Because they need only 100 bob to buy sanitary towels. And if they are friendly to their mothers, the mother can sponsor that. Even the parent can sponsor that. 100 bob for your child to get a sanitary towel. Maybe the child needs something, maybe a panty or needs something. You know, the girl is naive. Remember, a child of 10 years old. 10 years, by 10 years I was in class 4. Imagine a class 4 in a labor ward. Doing what? With people who are 15 and above, people who are 18 and above. So the parents, we have to start with the parent in the house. And then now we go to the society. We have with the community. We have the religious leaders. Churches, they have to give this information. And then they also have to know that when you are maybe rape cases, in terms of rape, sexual gender-based violence, where are you supposed to report to? What are we supposed to do? At what time, during what time, which window period? Because we don't want infections after maybe the rape cases or the sexual gender-based violence. So we have also to engage from parents. We have the community leaders. We have the community health promoters. We have the chiefs. We have the sub-chiefs, and we have those village elders that are always there. So I think that is the best way to go and to reduce the new infections of HIV among adolescents and young people. We don't want any infection on these girls. We don't want them to come. We don't want those teen pregnancies. Because when I was growing up to late now, we don't want to see that. Those sexual gender-based violence, the new infections that are coming out from that, we don't want, because we want our girls and we want also our young people to know that when you are raped, you have to go to the hospital within 72 hours. Yes, so,
Lucy,
yes.
Not wanting is one thing, but actually actioning our not wanting is another. And one of the things that can actually be done, and you guys have already alluded to it quite often, is the fact that there are things that our girls need and they cannot access them. There are simple things. For instance, where do I get a female condom? If a man is not going to use a male condom, then I can actually have female condom, right? Where do I get post-exposure prophylaxis? Do we have facilities that are welcoming if nurses or medical practitioners in that institution will not start judging me when I walk into that facility? I want post-exposure prophylaxis. Can I get sanitary towels when I need them, so that then a man out there will not take advantage of the fact that I don't have sanitary towels? I'm talking about funding, finding local solutions in terms of, so that then we don't rely on US donors, Melinda Gates Foundation, and all other donors out there that can actually decide in a day that we're not funding Africa on these areas. How do we find local solutions? How do we ensure that indeed some of these local solutions are incorporated in our activities, so that then we don't get ourselves in situations whereby we are caught off guard when donors decide we are not funding?
Yes, basically the donor funding, it has really affected us. Even in this World AIDS Day, we have some organizations that committed to support us. And then after, I think some 2 days to Wakatoka, they are not there. So we had a gap because of what? The donor withdrawing. So number one, what we can basically say, in our country, we have our budgets. We have the county assembly, they have their budget. The women rep, I think they have their budget. As a county or at the local area, we need to now focus on how we can budget for HIV activities. Moving forward, maybe in the next few years, all of them will have gone away, and we are only remaining with ourselves, and we have to manage ourselves. Remember, we have people who are living with HIV. We have our girls that need the PEP. We have our girls that needs 1, 2, 3 the condom. Right now, there's a shortage of condom. There's a shortage of condom that even that female condom, getting it's not.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. So right now we have to find a solution within us. And as I've said it before, it has to start from the house. From the house, we have to see our girls. You have a girl in the house. You have to ensure that girl has a sanitary towel, because there's nobody who is going to give it out. The donors are moving away. However, we have also to approach our leaders. We have leaders that have those budget, the area MP. We have to approach them. We have the women rep that is supposed to be supporting our girls, that they understand the women. We have to move to them. And then the health department, the counties also. With the moving forward, they'll have to budget for that.
They'll have to budget for
yes.
it. Sharon?
Yes.
Dealing with lack of condoms, dealing with lack of ARVs, is actually dealing with the problem itself, right? However, there are other support factors, like I've said, sanitary towels.
Yes.
These are small things that if we get it right, our girls will not go looking for boda riders, will not go looking for the employed men, so that then they can actually buy them sanitary towels. And it is important actually that we find ways of ensuring, first, that sanitary towels are available, that two, that they are accessible.
Yes.
And 3, they are affordable, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in that connection, we would, to me, I would prefer that the government comes in, because us having monthly periods every month, it's not something that every girl chooses to have. It's something that comes naturally. So we should consider this, that this is also should also be categorized under national disasters or natural calamities. This is something that we don't choose to have. But now you can choose to have sex or not, unless you are raped. But you can choose to not to have. So for women, we don't choose not to attend, not to have our monthly periods. So the government can come in that budget allocation, they allocate some few fundings for the pads, the sanitary towels, and the sanitary towels are not just worn that way. So if they are putting that funding, they have to ensure that they also have some other things around it, like the panties, because you need that panty to put a sanitary towel. You can give a girl a sanitary towel, but they don't even have that underwear. So where are they going to place it? So they need to consider all this. Then again, some times back we used to have organizations that would support girls with pads, and they would put pad banks. But most of these organizations were being supported by the USAID, which are now cut off. We no longer have them. So it means we are in a crisis. So the Kenyan government should come in, and this is the time that they should set some funding for pad banks, so that every girl is able to access this pad the same way men are able to access condoms hata kwa choo. Anaendanga anapata imewekwa kwa hiyo box anatoa. So we ladies should also be able to access those pads. So in avenues that they may want to put these things, we have organizations that deal with girls and young women. Then we have these youth-friendly centers, which are youth-led, and the youths are in charge of that center. So we need to ensure that these youth-friendly centers are increased in number, almost in every sub-location, because we have women in every place, so that they're able to access all this, either sexual reproductive health rights, their contraception and everything else, and the pads. So they're able just to say, I think my days are almost 3 days too. Let me go to that youth-friendly center, I pick a pad and come back home. They're free to do that. So if they are able to access these services, then we have these youth-friendly centers supporting them in other activities. We've had cases where we organize even tournaments and they compete against each other. Hii time mtu ako kwa tournament, hata kama ni spectator ama ni player ama ni nini, it keeps them away from involving into other activities that may have contributed to triple threat. So if you can organize this during holidays, tunakuwa na hizi competition, these talent shows. We have girls, we have boys who have very different and good talents. So we can be putting more effort in these youth-friendly centers. The way we've aligned this as a national triple threat, it will help us manage all this. Let's engage them. Then again, let's start doing sex education while our children are still very young. Sahi wanachanuka haraka sana. At the age of 9, mtoto mdogo ashajua what is this and what is this. No. I think the youngest mother we have around the world is 9 years.
8.
Yes, 8, 9 years. You can imagine a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old kwa boma na mimba. Hata wewe mzazi unafikiria aje? So we need to start sex education as early enough, so that as they grow, we understand it might be very sweet, but now do it at the right time. Give time, give everything their own time. There's that time to enjoy all that. But hapa katikati, encourage mtoto. This is what is supposed to be done. This is what is not supposed to be done. Then again, let's encourage early testing, early diagnosis, so that we start, in case somebody is tested or diagnosed and found positive, let's encourage them to start medication early enough, so that to avoid AHD. Now we are having the advanced HIV disease. Kitambo ilikuwa inaitwa AIDS.
Yes.
We are giving it a new name. AHD. So to avoid all this, na sio lazima mtu akuwe ako positive akuwe ako AHD. No. There are all those other factors that comes in. The moment you are positive, you are on care and you're not adhering to your drugs, it means you're moving closer to AHD. This is where you are on care, TB gets you, these other opportunistic diseases, the moment you have all of them with you and you're already on care, it means you are in that stage of AHD. Ile AIDS ya kitambo yenye watu walikuwa wanaogopa. So it still exists, but now it's called advanced HIV disease. So people need to get early diagnosis so that we help all this to avoid deaths. We can avoid them. We've seen, I think the data yesterday was showing around 20-something deaths, 20,000 deaths. So you can imagine if we are losing a number of people like that in a year, then how many are we going to lose maybe in a span of 5 years? That is a bigger number. So if there's something...
Remember the target is 20%. No deaths, no new infections. Yes.
And we are still losing 20,000. That is a big number. Watu 20,000 ni watu wengi sana.
Watu wengi sana. It boils down to planning. And if you want to know that indeed lack of planning is a very serious omission. About 40,000 people, teenagers in Homa Bay County, were actually enrolled on a US project. And when they cut funding, they all have to go home and miss out on the facility. So we cannot overemphasize the issue of planning, proper planning.
I can remember there was a time, during that time when Trump said everything was everything was disrupted and everything was in a mess. I personally am a beneficiary of a Dreams project where girls were being taught.
It's actually a project, yes.
Yes.
Poleni sana.
So being a beneficiary, I also wished that other girls would have gone through the process and finished successfully and at least have something else to do in the future. So at some point I felt pain when I saw some of the girls that I teach, some of the girls that I sensitize, now going home with sad faces. The project is over. They have nothing to look for. You can remember these projects used to take girls to schools. I'm one of them who actually I did media at some point, but now I diverted. I'm now a paralegal, just the same through that same process. So I also wish that other girls would be that empowered and move a step like I moved due to that project. Not that they were cut off. Our girls are just
they've been left up there.
Yes.
Yeah, and even to add on that, you talked about planning. I think the people who are implementing programs lack proper planning. If I can give you maybe a story about a project that was happening in Homa Bay between, I think, the year 2020 to 2023. It was being supported by Bill Gates Foundation, the University of Washington. There was a project called LISTEN, Local Innovative Through Enterprise Network. Basically, the people, when they gave us the project, they told us, you will never, you are not supposed to depend on donors forever for your problems. You have to find a problem, then find a solution. And then that solution should be on you yourself. So what they were trying to tell us, you can as well do your things alone without donors. And for example, in Homa Bay, because I was part of that project in Homa Bay, it was only in it was being piloted in Homa Bay and Kiambu. And then after that, they wanted us to scale it out, to roll it out to the whole counties and then implement it. We are not supposed to come and give you money, but we are supposed to give you ideas how you can solve your problem. For example, we went to Homa Bay, went up to Fangano. We were targeting Boda and the fisher folks. We went and listened to their problems. They told us all their problems, including the HIV new infections. Then after that, a solution is, these are the problems. Now find a solution. We find, like for example, the fisher folks along Mfangano, they say they have a problem with the weather. They're dying fishing. The next meeting, we are going with the meteorological department to give them the solution, how they can prevent that death. If they say they have a problem with new HIV infections, we go back with the health department team. How are we going to do about that? Then the next, maybe the border, the police harassment. The next, we are going back with the the police commander and tell them so basically what I'm trying to say, they told us we have to use human-centered design. So you have to find your problems and you know how to solve it yourself. You are poor. The border, they were told you are having money all the time, 150 bob. Why can't you come in a group? Every day, each one of you contribute 100. If you are 700, like within they were sub-county, within they were North Cap Watch, they were told you are 700 people. Each one of you contribute 100 bob. Then come up with a petrol station, something that will help you in future.
Something sustainable.
Yes. So we were, the projects that was being supported with Bill Gates, they were just trying to tell us, not donors will pull away, but we have to manage ourselves with our own solutions.
And also just still on donors, because that is something that you alluded to, but I mean we moved pretty fast over it. Is the issue of fearing pregnancy is more than the virus, right? And I want to connect it back to a study done by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that actually found that more girls, especially the ages of 14 to 24, are likely to seek illegal abortion backstreet, right?
Yes.
And 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 10, 6 out of 10 will actually likely seek illegal abortion backstreet, and of course half of that number is also likely to lose their life through seeking those services. And one program that was actually initiated in informal settlement, Dreams Must Be Knowing That, is the enrollment of young girls as young as 8 and 9 to family planning methods, right? So basically you have actually given these young girls a license to go out and have unprotected sex because they will not get pregnant. Is there a need to actually ensure that, yes, even as we allow these programs in our communities, right, that we look at them critically and look at the wider picture in terms of the effect they're going to have to the community? Yes.
Basically, when we talk about the young girls at the age of 8, 9, 10 to get the family...
And who in their right mind will actually put an 8-year-old on family planning?
And I don't think they go alone. It's with consent, with parents. I think 15 and above are the ones who are allowed. I don't know whether 18 or what. But with them, you know, even the parents fear their daughters. Imagine your daughter at 8 coming with...
You've not answered the question. Who in their right mind will put an 8-year-old, 9-year-old on family planning?
Nobody.
Or even a 15-year-old?
Nobody.
Continue.
Nobody. In fact, there was a time I remember I saw a young girl at the age of 12, 13 years old with and I was shocked. Implant. I think she was around 12 or 13. Then I got shocked and I was like, what's happening? And the mother is the one who took her to. She didn't even know that she was having something. She just told me that my mother told me it's something to prevent me from something. But it's a disease, I don't know. She told me another name of a disease. She didn't even know. The mother had known this girl has been sexually active. So the mother herself is fearing. Imagine a 12-year-old coming with you. And then also with the burden, utakuwa grandmother, and then you are the person who is going to buy pampers.
Which is easier, talking to this girl, taking this girl through, as she said, sex education, or exposing her to this, hormonal imbalance that height, which is easier.
I think it's sex education, and sex education starts with the parent. I talked about the parent. Be your friend to your child. Sex education starts within you, and it should start as early as somebody asked which age group. It should start as early as possible. Even just start at 2 years. Don't tell somebody. Maybe a child comes to you, "Mami, hii inaitwa nini?" Then you tell, "This is dudu, something dudu." Tell that child the correct word of that. The thing that child is asking. Don't hide around the corner telling, no, Mommy, how do people get pregnant? The children are being bought from the supermarket. Tell that child the way it is, because you are going to tell that person that the child is being bought from the supermarket. However, the teacher or the other friends, the ones they are playing with, they will tell her, your mother, mamako na babako walifanya tabia mbaya, ndio mtoto akakuja. Then the child will really trust the other person more than the parents.
We are pressed for time, right?
Yes.
So in conclusion, when you came here, you were complaining about time. I told you 1 hour is a very short period. You're complaining about time. We're actually done with our hour, right? So in conclusion, the country is supposed to be, the issue of injectable ARVs just about to come, right? So you are urged to members of the public and those that actually want to seek these services. As we conclude, I also give 30 seconds, so then we conclude.
We have a prevention ARV that is being rolled out, and we are very, very happy that Kenya is one of the countries that have been approved by the World Health Organizations. So, and for example, let me talk about Kisumu, because I'm in Kisumu. The Kisumu healthcare workers, the TOTs have been trained about it, and they are supposed to scale it out to the healthcare workers. So this is the injectable drug, the one that I'm talking about. It's just to prevent you from getting HIV. It's like a PrEP, and it's being injected twice in a year, 6 months and then again 6 months. And it does not take HIV away from you forever, but it's just to make you, to prevent you. It is not, some people are asking about it, does it treat HIV? It does not treat
Prevention.
HIV, it's just prevention.
Sharon.
Yes. Okay, in conclusion, I would just say that we start all this early. When something is realized early, it can be managed well until we see some successful stories and all that. So what I would just encourage our communities, let's work together, and those who are already on care, let's support them. I know it's heavy. Let's support them so that they also adhere to medication, so that they're okay, so that we don't lose them.
Fantastic.
Yes.
That is Sharon, of course, one of my panelists here today, of course, discussing matters pertaining HIV/AIDS and how we can actually navigate around it. If you were keen, you realize you have avoided statistics, because statistics, they are out there and don't actually, people tend to not associate with them. However, we wanted to discuss issues that are actually contributing to those statistics, and we moved pretty well. And as Sharon has aptly put it, please start early, ensure that you test early, and once you test, kindly get yourself on drugs. And Lucy has said that once you are actually on drugs, please avoid situations that will see you interrupting your medication. But also she says the new injectable antiretroviral that will actually be introduced in the country next year, ensure that you have it, and it's not for treatment, it's just for prevention, to be taken twice per year. Of course, that is a discussion that will continue. My question to you is that, have you tested today? And if you have not tested, what are you waiting for? Those that have tested, kindly take the first step towards ensuring that indeed you are safe and you safeguard the community. On behalf of everyone who's actually been involved in this, our guest, and of course our camera operators, Martin Kivuti and Sube Nyamatiko, our logistics person, Edwin Otieno, and of course my colleague from Mayenga, Philip Miyawa, my crew from Nairobi, Martin Njeru and John Muhika. It's thank you very much, and of course we cannot forget the management of Mirage Palace Hotel in Kisumu that continues to give us this space, so then you can actually have this conversation every Monday. Until again next time when we'll be discussing other issues, kindly keep it tuned.
we will open a powerful dialogue on prostate cancer and the vital role that women play in early detection, support, and recovery.
Increase in the frequency of passing urine. It can also cause, particularly during the night, the frequency can be more. Like difficulty in passing urine, any physical obstruction in passing urine. So these are the main signs and symptoms of prostate cancer.
I had a very supportive wife, very supportive family, my children, and very supportive employer.
Yes. Let us communicate as much as we can, because they will not, in most cases, men will not start a conversation about a sickness.
Being physically active, avoiding obesity, good diet, so reducing the red meat intake.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news, and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, only on KBC Channel 1.
Okay, tell me. Tell me you're not dating her. Tell me you didn't leave me to be with her. Tell me, Marcelo. Marcelo is such a good and honest man. It's obvious that he's hiding things, Aunt. Very important things at that. Okay, but what kind of things?
Just put my mother on the line, Rafaela.
I think your mother is asleep.
I don't care if she's sleeping. Wake her up, and if she doesn't answer, break down the door.
This means that Marcela belongs to me, and I'm not going to let your stepdaughter destroy what the two of us built together. I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand it. Oh! Nora! Nora!
Good Morning Kenya continues. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Vivian Dagwa, and right about now we get into our Family Check segment. And today on Family Check, we are talking about quality time and finding time to spend with your family, especially during the season that we are in right now. You know, the children are at home. We've kept saying that since last month. Yes, they are at home, and we are getting into the festivities. So what is the best way to ensure that you are spending quality time with your family at home? And joining me for this conversation is a counseling psychologist. His name is Cleopa Njiru. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Okay.
And it's just the two of us today on this conversation. So we have all the time to get into it. Maybe if we can just begin by, you know, for you, when we talk about spending quality time, what does that look like for you?
Okay. Maybe I could start by saying that every family, mine and yours, and of the audience, the person who is listening to us, is going through a kind of a struggle. And this struggle can also be seen by the young people, the pleasures that they have to go through, and the pain that people carry because of the pressures that they have to go in daily life. So for us to now, during this festival season, to be able to live and somehow be happy, make for our families, avoid distress, then quality time. And quality time is what you do, the way you talk, the kind of things you do as a family. All these things there is a lot of research and people have researched about it.
Yeah.
And that is what now for me, because I have been supporting people. People come to me for counseling, either as an individual one-to-one.
Yeah.
Sometimes I deal with families, couples, and couples of people who are professionals, who are dealing with high demanding jobs,
Yeah.
who are in corporate world. All these people are the people that I have been working with for the last 40 years. And so as I discuss with them, sometimes people think it's big things, but simple things that makes a happy family, and that means the spending of quality time.
Quality time.
That is the presence.
Yeah.
When you are present, not perfection, but just being present.
Just being present.
Yeah.
And you know, you've talked about the pressures of the world right now. And specifically, I want us to look at, you know, for the side of the parents or the guardians. As much as we're saying that, yes, schools have closed, but remember, parents are still going to work. People are still working at the moment. So what's the best way to go about just balancing that time? You know, balancing you working on your goals, you working on your professional goals as well, you ensuring that you are, you know, present in terms of the work that you're supposed to do, as well as not forgetting to spend time with the children back at home and the family at large. Is there a way to balance the two?
Looking at the kind of work we do, especially for me as a family therapist, we look at some of the people who have studied things to do with family. And most of them, they say family is a system. The emotions, the way one person who is annoyed can now cause problems to the whole family. So one way of spending time and one way of ensuring, despite the fact that we are busy at work, the 10, 15 minutes you get after work, the quality of that time. Like if you change, you are coming, you've been tired, you've gone through a lot of things, but if you remain calm, composed, and talk to the family in a different way, be aware of the patterns, how you have disrupted your family, or how you've gotten annoyed in the past. If you change, one person in the family changes, it becomes a change for the whole family. So even if we are in busy schedules, even if we are working, then when we come and meet with the family, then what we do with the family changes the whole family.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a huge difference between quality time and quantity time.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
if you can just get into that, like, is there one that matters more than the other, or do both of them matter when it comes to the quality and the quantity?
The quality is the things you do. And that's why there are also some people who have studied the patterns, the things you repeat as a family, those things that can cause conflict, that can make the conflict go high. So if you study and as a family you reflect what has been happening, like right now we are in the festival season. If you can recall as a parent, as a father, as a mother, you ask yourself, what happened last Christmas? When we went for the holiday, what is it that we did that caused a conflict? How did we handle that conflict? Those are some of the patterns that sometimes we repeat. So quality time means, as a parent, you are helped and you think of, how can I change? And there are few things, like how do you handle criticism? Because you see, in families, people will criticize each other most of the time, or defensiveness. Are you always defensive? When asked something, even about money or about where are we going for our holiday, and then some things like content, you feel like you are not happy with your partner, with a family member, or sometimes keeping quiet, silence. You know, the things we call like stonewalling. You know, those are the patterns that people need to reflect, especially this time. So 10 to 15 minutes, while you are trying to minimize those patterns, that helps the family. That is quality time. You can stay all day together, but that day is full of distractions. You are always finding fault to one another. You are always quarreling with one another. So you are not spending quality time together.
I get you. So quality time is more important. You know, you can have quantity time, you can be in the house all the time, but you are not intentional about prioritizing what you are doing with this time with your family in the house, you know, with the children. So I get you on that. And what's the importance of just ensuring that you are prioritizing or intentionally prioritizing spending quality time with your family?
The first thing is we realize, like we started saying, there is a lot of stress, money issues. Children have closed the schools. The young people are going through a lot of pressures. So there is so much that goes on in the family. So the importance is you bring calm and emotions are raw. And then you are preparing your children for the future. Even yourself, you remain happy. If you are a busy professional, you get a place to go and rest. So it is healthy for every person in that family. So when you become intentional, you know you are doing that for your own sake and for the sake of the family. And that's where a few techniques like learning to say no to other engagement. You know, people will be invited to do so many things. So intentional means you are learning things that would help you to be with the family and be focused with the family. And so all the people in the relationships, because when we talk about family, we are also looking at other relationships that you have. So you need to be very intentional in what you do. And these are some of the things we slowly help people when they come, or when we are talking like this. I hope there's someone who is getting something, saying, wow, I never knew that, and I've been doing that. So the joy and happiness of being together, and more so helping one to cope with the stresses and the things that are going in life. Yeah.
I want us to get to talk about, you know, as we are commemorating World AIDS Day, today, the 1st of December, the statistics shows that, you know, the number of new infections, of HIV infections, are mainly among the teenagers. You know, from the age of 15 to 19, the number is quite high. Maybe is this also the proper time for the family, you know, in the house, in your nuclear family, just in the house, to ensure that you are also creating time for talk? You know, and by talk, I mean now sitting your teenagers down, sitting your young people in the house down, just to talk about sex education. And I know sometimes it's a difficult conversation for parents, but maybe if you can talk a bit about it.
It all starts with the kind of relationship you have with your children. They start from when the children are being breastfed, when they are growing up. Like, you remember the age of 4 to 5, that's the time young people start getting curious about who they are as boys and girls. So for those parents who are already having the 4 to 5, this is the right time. When they ask the questions, how do you answer those questions? So you start preparing them for puberty or adolescence. Those parents who maybe they did not prepare that and they find now they are in puberty, adolescence, and they can see the behaviors of the children, then they need to establish a healthy relationship, how they talk to each other, especially during this time that they are together. And as I keep on repeating, 10 to 15 minutes. Like the way you ask questions, the way you bring in the topic of who you are, because sex is a state of being a male or a female. Sexuality is how you express that. So how you bring that topic in a way of tell me what you know. Because our young people, they are so much informed. They know everything.
That's true.
Yet as parents, we think we are teaching them. Tell them to teach you. And when you give that room of being able to, first of all, deal with the emotions like fear, like anxiety, try to bond with them so that there is that security. You know, we start when people are young, we create an anxious attachment board that when they say something, there is the way as a parent you react. So this is the time for you to express yourself as a parent, as an elder, in a calm, composed way, a way that you are not threatening, you are not teaching. You want both of you to start talking. And the young people will tell you everything, even about HIV/AIDS, about pregnancy, if you give them space to say. But the thing is, we have to create that quality time. that way of being able to communicate and to talk to each other, like the way if you face it, a therapist like me, the first thing is how I welcome you, how I introduce the topic, how I structure, because like coming to me, I need to come up with a structure. And then I have to have evidence-based, or a way I can prove what I am saying. I already have done some research. So parent also, caregivers, even when you have a caregiver who you are leaving your child with, educate them. Give them some ways of going to the internet to read more, or even attending sessions with expert family therapists or marriage therapists to get more and accurate information. Because young people are intelligent.
That's
if
true.
you just tell them anything, so for us to help in the fight, like I was there in 1998 when HIV/AIDS was serious, a disaster. What did we do? We went around to the offices, to corporate, to families, giving education, giving the right information and correct information. That's what parents need to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've said, you know, when we talk about, you know, the conversation that we're talking about in matters, you know, sex education, the best time to start is early enough, from the age of 4. So for parents who are watching us right now, they should know that, you know, from the age of 4, start talking to your child about sex education. And maybe for those who are not very open or a bit shy to get to talk about it with the children who are now in the puberty stage and all, is there a way you can advise them in how to start, you know, how to start the conversation for those who've never really touched on it at all with their children?
May I say something? Sex education is never taught. You don't teach people. It is caught. The children, even a breastfeeding, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, they are observing and watching what is happening in the world, elders, what they are doing, the people who are older. So from birth, children have been learning matters to do with human sexuality. So that's the first thing. The other thing is what we do now informs of what we tell them. If now we are talking about adolescents, people in puberty, the kind of conversation is to help them understand the changes that they are going through. And you know the challenge, we focus on physical changes. We focus only on physical. But the changes that are happening, they're emotional. They are changing the way they feel. Sometimes they feel annoyed, sometimes they feel excited. You need to understand what are the reasons for these emotions. And then as an adult, then we need to change that. The way we react, the way we feel, all that helps the young people we are dealing with to change. They are also asking questions about spirituality, about God, about their purpose in life. So when we started discussing those topics, we are also touching the whole issue of human sexuality. Then their thinking process, their thoughts, what are they thinking? So all these are all combined. So when we are thinking of helping our young people, at whatever age, let us think in terms of their feelings, their thoughts, their behaviors, and what they can see out there. Like find out from them, what do they know about house parties? What happens there? You know, that way they can come and bring you home. Like there are some alcohol, sometimes you get drugs in. When you get alcohol, yes, allow them to be open, to tell you what they know. It's not you giving a lecture. It's an engagement, a relationship between two people who understand, respect them, and know they already know something. And so when you engage them that way, then they will be able to bring out, then correct. And the presence is that one, not you are perfect. Even you say, even me, I went through this. Sometimes I also go through challenges, and I am able to overcome them when I do 1, 2, 3, because you are teaching who you are as a man or a female. So human sexuality is about us. And so you also need to work on yourself, look at your past and see, where did you go wrong? What areas would you want also to improve on? Because when you improve, you are helping them to run from you. Yes.
So this is the best time to bring your children closer to you. now that they are not engaged with school. You know, for those who are in primary school, they're back home. For those who are in high school, same thing. And you know, it's the time of the festivities. So even the ones who are just joining university or had just joined are also going to be home pretty soon. So this is the time would you advise, for a parent who's watching us right now, would you advise them that this is actually the best time to bring them close? Because, you know, most times when they are not home, you see them very, you know, in such a limited time. Wale ambao wako boarding, they're in boarding schools, you only get to see them for a very short period of time. So is this the best time to ensure that you bring them as close as you can and getting to know them more, you know, because they keep changing. So you need to keep changing with your child as they grow. So maybe you can speak a bit on that, on just ensuring that you're bringing them closer. You know, give them space to come closer to you. You know, cutting that fear of, hey, huyo ni mzazi, kuna vitu sifai kumwambia. You know, yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the best time. And there are things that are attracting young people. And sometimes parents are fighting those things that can help them to be even more closer. Like, for instance, the use of technology. If you can just engage them for 10 minutes to find out what do they know, then you ask them, what kind of programs do you watch? Or what would you want us to watch? And then you can introduce some programs that can bring in teaching by themselves. So when they know that you are also helping them to know how to use certain things in technology, those 10 minutes can open up the discussion. So as you say rightly, we don't have time with our children. And if you have 10 minutes from your busy day, 15 minutes, then you can have some rules in the family. Some of the rules and boundaries. Setting boundaries is like having 1 hour out of technology. You see, for now, we are going to have this ritual. Is it possible that we can keep off our phones for 10 or 15 minutes just to come to know each other? And I want to tell you a story about myself and what I go through on a daily basis, and know how to ask the right questions, how to bring a conversation. So then stating some roles in the family. You come and say, you know, I have been like this, but I feel as a parent, as a mother, I would want to change. What would you like me to do differently? You know, you are already helping them to start that conversation. So this is the right time, as you say, that parent can look for all ways, even researching. Like now we have several ways of researching, using like the AI, not as a therapist, but a source of information, so that you may know as a parent, how would I bring in this kind of topics in a better way? So if you know how to use technology, it can help us to bridge that gap. And then knowing the person, authentic person, not really what you think. So you reason, like learning a few things, observing your child, reasoning, and being able to even ask yourself, when my child says this way, how do I respond? You know, these are simple things that we can learn as parents during this time. And not only the parent, even the people who interact with your children. Like if you have nieces, cousins, they will hear you more, and you'll be able to change them more if only we all know our children and our next generation is looking upon us as those people who have already lived, so that we can be able to guide them, know them, even knowing their fears, knowing their challenges, and trying to change. And I still repeat what one of the people who studied family systems says, a change in one person, a change in a parent, a change even in a young person who is looking at me, it will mean a change to the whole system, the whole emotions of what is happening. If you have been fearing each other, if you have been feeling ashamed, embarrassed in the presence of each other, when one person now changes, and that's why when you go and reason to someone talking, like the way we are talking, then that change in you will mean a change in the whole system. And so this is the right time to change. And the beginning is not the children, but ourselves. We bring ourselves to their level. We also know how do we use the available resources so that we can be able to become good mentors, good parents. And then the other thing is, you cannot have everything. There are some organizations, some churches, some institutions like counseling who have prepared certain things for young people. If you find one that fits with your values, what you teach, what you want to give to the children, invest in it. Even if it means it would be more cost effective if you give a certain amount for your child to meet an expert than just to keep quiet. Because you see, expert will be able to tell, these are the information we need to give, this is how we need to give it. So even knowing the expert, the background, what have they studied, what information they going to give to your children? And you can even invite relatives. You can then tell them to go to grandma, who you know will also give something to the child. So all these are the things that we can do as parents, because it's not only us. We also need to involve other people, the resources we have around ourselves.
Yeah, and I love that. Is there a way that we can tell, or are there signs that one can tell that, okay, maybe I have not been spending quality time with my people. Maybe I have been neglecting, you know, my children or you know, something of the sort, or I've been neglecting some people in the family. Are there signs to tell?
Yeah, simple things. When you get into the house, what happens? If you have been present and people are feeling comfortable with you, they'll come and greet you. Have a cup of tea. How was your day? You know, those are observable things you can observe. But what happens when you get into the house and everybody, you are asking, where is everybody? Because the moment they had your car,
they
all went their own ways. You know, it's just like chicken. If you press some heat here, when you see the chicken surrounding, that means there is retro warmth in the room, and that's why they are surrounding the source of the heat. If you see them going very far, that means the place is very hot. So you need to regulate. When you see them walking around, eating and jumping, then there is peace.
So you can easily tell.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's something observable. Then you reason to what they tell you. And you see what they are telling you. If they are coming to inform you, we are having this and this function in the church, or there is this friend of mine who is having this, and they can come and openly tell you, or even share with you. You know, this friend of ours, they had a party, this and this happened. So you know, as a parent, you have already helped them to feel free with you, and they can easily share with you. So what you talk with them, how they talk to you, the kind of information they give you, all that tells you that you have established a healthy relationship with your children. Then conflict, how you resolve. Even when a child has done something, if the child is the one to come and tell you, even before you ask, you know, mom, you know, dad, you know, aunt, because we are talking about children living with either their families or living with their relatives because of the situations that we are finding today. You find even before you discover something, it is the child who is coming to tell you, I did this and this. It was a big mistake and I ask for your forgiveness. And even the way they start talking about it. So even when there are problems, you can be able to tell the pattern, the way you fight with each other. Fighting is not really fighting, but how you talk to each other even when there are problems. So you can be able to tell all these things in the manner of behavior. Even the thought, the way they will come and tell me, I've been thinking of doing 1, 2, 3. Would you support me in this? Their emotions. You see someone who is always quiet, rocking themselves into their rooms. All evening, you come, someone takes their food, goes to the room. You know, those are behaviors that you can be able to tell here, I need to do something. And that is where now you may need to ask, if I'm not able to get a breakthrough, who else can do that for me? Because you already have experts and people around you, either a relative, an expert, who can be able to help you do that.
Okay, so for the parent who's watching us right now, and maybe this is the case for them, you know, they are the sort of parents, you know, they're that dad who comes home and everyone, you know, goes their way, or mother as well, you know, you get to the house and no one really is paying attention to you being there and all of that. Maybe you've not been giving them enough time, so now they're also just reciprocating. You know, they just know, Mama hata akikuja ananga shughuli na mtu. So it's never too late, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So maybe where to begin?
The first, begin with ourselves. We are all going through a lot of pain. We've gone through traumatic experiences in our past. Let us be humble enough to say, before I give, I need to take care of myself. Because you cannot give from an empty space.
Yes, you can't
you
pour from
have
an empty
to
cup.
first of all come to yourself as a person. Then if you are in a relationship, whatever kind of relationship, whether it is marriage, I hear young people telling me we are in partnership, whatever you are in, how is that relationship going on? Your own place of work, how are your interactions with the people that you are working with? So start first with yourself. Find out what you can do. If it is too much, if the pain is too much, then look for resources. Look for people who have the expertise, who can be able to help you go through that. Then from there, I wish one day we can have a school of parenting, like the way I'm just talking. Because right now, I'm giving information from 40 years of interacting with individuals, interacting with families, in different forums, even when I'm giving talks. So all what I'm giving, and then research, reading. Because like for me, it's not just my own personal experience. It is going to school and all that. That is what prepares you to become a parent. So even parents need to invest a little bit their time, their resources, so that they can learn how to become good parent. And we have a lot of available resources around us. So that is the starting point. The second is you are an educator. And you are educating young children, you are educating adolescents, young adults. Learn how do educators educate. You are a coach, you are a counselor, you are a trainer. You occupy all those positions when you have young people who you are staying with. And not only them, even the people that you are working with, the person who is managing your home on your behalf when you go to work. All those people are so important. So the starting point is ourselves. Then when we have something, learn how do I give it to the others in a more structured, evidence-based way. Just don't do things haphazardly, because we really need to get it right. Even if we have not been doing right in the past, we still have a chance. Everything is not lost. Yes.
And I want us to just look at the same now from the child's perspective, because we've looked at, for that parent who is now realizing, okay, I have not been there, for my children, I've not been present, and now you've mentioned what to do. Now, what of that child who is in the house, always feels neglected? What about that child? What to do with that one who's feeling nobody really cares about me in this home, very neglected and all?
Let me start by saying science has really grown. When you look at what is happening around us, you'll be amazed. Would you believe that we have, even in Kenya, child therapists, people who are helping infants, breastfeeding, and they help those children, they empower them, even if they are in a world where the people who are parenting them, they are not doing the right thing. They go and see someone who helps that child, an infant. The same thing with all the children who are listening to me. You have also the capacity to change yourself. You may not even need someone for now, but there are certain things that you need to talk to someone, especially when you have gone through a lot of pain, when you have gone through a lot of trauma, and you don't necessarily have to keep quiet. Any young person who is listening to us today, in schools we have experts, we have counselors. Around us we have parents who you can see, this parent, the way they talk to us, they know what they are doing. So even if in your circumstance as a young person, you do not have someone who is helping you, you still have the capacity, you still have the opportunity to say something to a neighbor, to say someone in the school, to go to church and reason when children are being taught. So all these things, you do not have to rely with your parent alone. When I look back to my own journey, much of what I did as a young person was not necessarily from my parent. It was for me going out and meeting other people in the church, in the community. And I can say a lot of my formation of who I am today comes from a whole process of many years where I have allowed myself to be among people who can change me. So the young person who is listening to me, you still have the opportunity to look for a way. And then for the people who can support these children, they also can see this child, the kind of family situation. Like for instance, if I'm not saying, but I'm saying there are those people who are already addicted. And the villagers can see that. Because this is a father who is coming home, saying things, doing things that would interfere with the growth process of these children. As good neighbors, we only sit down and watch. But there is those who make a step. How can we help these children? Because the family environment, the way the father, the mother, the behavior is not okay for these children. And we have people who have gone out of their way to look for ways of supporting those children. And those children who are listening to me, and they know that they are in an environment where what we have been talking is not happening, then they also have the power to change their lives. Because whatever is happening around you cannot determine who you'll become. It's you to make a choice. And to say, yes, I'm young, I'm a child, and I want to live a good, honest, pure life. So how do I get the person who can help me? And I tell you, there are some professionals, because like ethically, we are supposed to help anyone who comes to us. So I will not say this child is coming to me. How do I help the child? I will even leave an elder there and go to the child, because I know I'm preparing the future generation. Because the children, when they are well prepared, then 10 years to come, 20 years to come, we shall have a new generation. So let them not just keep to themselves. Let them go out. And we have some toll-free line numbers. If they go and ask, there are those numbers they can call, especially if the home environment is not very good for them, and they can have people who can come and support them.
Yeah. All right. By the end of the conversation, which we are about to actually get to that end of the conversation, maybe you may share where they can be able to find you for those who are struggling in one way or the other, matters family, and how to ensure that there's a good bond in their family. Now, as we finish up, what's the importance of creating a tradition? You know, we hear people saying, you know, this is our family tradition during Christmas. This is our family tradition during the holidays. This is our tradition every time someone has a birthday. What's the importance of having that family tradition in relation to, you know, bonding with the family and having quality time?
We have some people who have researched on that a lot, especially the family. You know, for me, being a family therapist, I really value structure. I value evidence-based things that you can know. Simple things, rituals. Rituals are like what the family can decide, especially this time. Praying together, journaling, 10 minutes of walking together, those small activities. You know, we talk about these things like mindfulness, going to enjoy nature. It's not only going, but the quality of what happens there. Then there are things like meditation. If you right now you go online and search for meditation on lane water, meditation in the forest, you see all these things are things you can do as a family, and they are so important. They can help you. So those are the things that people can do, and they can do a lot of research. Then connection, how they relate with each other, how they relate with the family, all those things are very important of creating a culture, keeping off technology, like keeping off the phone for 10, 20 minutes, having a ritual, like cooking together, inviting the children to cook chapatis, especially this time. All those are rituals that the families can have.
Can pick up, and it will help with their bonding time. Okay, maybe where can people find you for those who would love to get in touch with you?
Thank you so much, and I am here ready to support individuals, couples, highly professionals, those people who have work to do. They can come to my office in Upper Hill, just there within Upper Hill. I can give their contact. They can go to my Facebook page, Mental Wellness by Cleopa, Instagram, or if you look for Cleopa and Jiro Cleopa Kenya, you'll find me in all the platforms.
Okay.
Plus my telephone number, you send me a WhatsApp message or you call me direct, 0721 356 549.
Okay.
0721 356 549.
All right.
I'll answer anyone who calls me.
Okay, thank you so much for...
And I'll give something special for anyone who calls me within the next 10, 20 minutes. A word of encouragement, 15 minutes, not something much. So anyone who will call me within the course of today, I'll just give a gift of who I am.
Okay.
To just say something you want to know from me.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your time this morning and for shedding, you know, giving us your information and the knowledge that you have been able to acquire over the years matters the family. I am sure that you back at home have gotten to pick a word or two or a thing or two from what our counseling psychologist today got to share with us matters. Finding quality time to spend with your family, and for those who are already in families that are broken, where to begin and how to be able to change that. This is where we end this conversation. Thank you so very much for watching us from the time we began at 6:30 a.m. That is beginning of Good Morning Kenya till this very time where we get to say goodbye. From the entire Good Morning Kenya team, we want to wish you a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Vivian Ndegwa. See you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.
We will open a powerful dialogue on prostate cancer and the vital role that women play in early detection, support and recovery.
Increasing the frequency of passing urine. It can also cause, particularly during the night, the frequency can be more. Like difficulty in passing urine, any physical obstruction in passing urine. So these are the main signs and symptoms of prostate cancer.
I had a very supportive wife, very supportive family, my children, and very supportive employer.
Yes. Let us communicate as much as we can, because they will not, in most cases, men will not start a conversation about a sickness.
Being physically active, avoiding obesity, good diet, so reducing the red meat intake.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the Positive Warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
She shows no signs of slowing down even when the hands are full at home.
or in the tennis courts, with her unrelenting determination to make the best out of situations and succeed beyond imaginations. Wanjiru Mbugua Karani is a former Kenya international top tennis player who owes it all to her beloved dad, Abidan Mbugua, a pioneer journalist who loves sports.
My dad loved sports. And I got curious about this game that my dad used to play. And so when they would finish playing, I would, they are sitting down, they're resting. I would run and take the racket with my brother and my sister. And we just, started hitting and, really enjoying ourselves. So one day my dad is like, oh, you guys look like you really enjoy this game. So he got us a coach. And she would teach us. And then after that, when my dad finishes, we would take his rackets and really, play. And eventually the bug caught on.
Her athleticism saw her venture into different sports before she found her footing in tennis to make the Kenya junior team for starters.
I went to Loreto Convent in Msongari. And then they were very flexible about sports. And I played everything. I was a runner, I did cross country, I did hockey, I did netball, I swam. So in everything I sort of touched, I did really well in terms of sports. So that's where I realized this thing, I love this game, and I would like to do the very best I can do. So all throughout Form 1, Form 2, that's what I did. And then, so I just kept getting better and better. And I was at that point now in the Kenya team as a fully fledged member.
Her two siblings, Samudhoni and Kanji, chose a different sports before they wound up in different careers, with Kanji, the youngest, venturing into music, where he formed an acclaimed gospel group that went by the name Milele, that topped the music charts to win many accolades.
At that time, we all played. They were younger than me. And my sister took towards to swimming. So she played, she was in her swimming team at Kenya High for her whole 4 years. And my brother played basketball. So in fact, he insisted on going to Nyeri Baptist, which was the basketball school those days. And he played basketball until national levels. And he's also very gifted in music, and now he's a singer too.
She went on to earn herself a scholarship.
Through high school is when I really now came out, and that's when I was noticed also by people like Jim Davis, who was at that time the chairman, and also ran a tennis academy. So he gave me a scholarship to his tennis academy, and I would play there at 6 in the morning before I go to school.
Wanji, on the other hand, went on to become a top tennis player in Kenya, who was ranked 5th in Africa.
I did the circuits for quite a number of years. I did the AJC, the Africa Junior Championships, and that was, I think, my first international tournament that I did really well. That was in Algeria. So I got to the quarterfinals, and that also now inspired me to work harder, and and at the end of that year I was ranked 5th in Africa, and after that now I became, of course, 18. When I was 18, I now joined the Fed Cup.
She had her best years between 1988 and 1995, where she singled out one of her best moments.
There was this girl from Botswana. She was called Gabby, and she was top in Africa. And so every tournament, consistently, every year, she would beat me, or, she was always ahead of me. So one day in Zambia, Kitwe, and we are playing our match. I think it could have been like a quarters or a semis. And of course I knew I'm going to lose again. But I said, well, let me just give it everything I have. And I did. And unbelievably, I won that match. I just never forget it.
This is what made her stand out among the others.
I think I was more of an intelligent player, and that I combined with, I was naturally athletic. And so between the two, I was able to know what to do with a ball when it came to me. I also was, I adapted very easily to to new styles.
It was not always a smooth ride though, with the press on her back when the going got tough.
We used to play against European countries because African countries, very few, we didn't have too many that could actually come up with a team of 4 ladies. Most of them would have 1 or 2 good players, but didn't have number 3 and number 4. And those days you needed a team of 4. So there were very few which could have 4 players. So it was a fully European opponents that we had. And so we played and we kept on losing. And the press in Kenya, they put us down, they rubbished us, and the more they did it, the lower we went and the more we couldn't play. So for me, it was extremely unfair. Actually, at some point, they had to stop showing us the newspapers.
Those were but some of the challenges they had to go through in their quest for success.
I was captain of a team, and at the end, just before we left, they said, "I'm sorry, guys, there's no money to send you guys to." It's a story that happens, but knowing me, I was like, I'm not gonna give up, and I'm not gonna give in. We've prepared this team, and we are ready to go. So I took it upon myself to find the money. So I worked so hard. So we went. The good thing was we went, and we stayed at this very small hotel. But just the fact that we were the only team that wasn't staying where we were supposed to, And so being the captain of the team, they keep asking you, why can't we stay with the other guys, And I'm like, I had 2 options. It's either to give up and say, okay, fine, let's not go because we have no money, or with this little that we have raised, let's go and just, play our tennis.
Born a fighter, the former tennis queen never gave up and decided to widen her scope in the sport.
I've gone back to school, doing sports management, and what is really exciting about it is my project is on creating regional associations for Tennis Kenya. So I think one of the things that as Tennis Kenya we need to do is to spread the game to, to different areas. Just staying in Nairobi and thinking that you have done well is not good enough. Yeah, so that's what my project is on, and it's very exciting because my tutor turned it into it's called an active research project. So I have to implement one before as part of my course.
She went into administration and was the one who set up, among others, the Kenya Lawn Tennis Office.
We did not have many people playing tennis. It did not have many people who knew about, especially local tennis. They would know about McEnroe, Ivan Lendl, Boris Becker, but they didn't know too much about local tennis. So I took it upon myself to do that as a research project. So I did it, and in doing that, I interviewed many people. And after all doing my interviews and everything, it turned out people didn't know because there was no information. And one of the things that was very clear was that we needed an office. There was an office, but it was not open. Like when there was a tournament, they would open the office. When it's over, it's closed, and So I went up to Mr. Kenani's office at KCB and talked to him. I told him, I'm here, I'm volunteering my services to open an office so that in case you need anything, if there are entry forms, we know we can send them out. If anybody needs anything, they have a place they can come to find out about tennis.
Wanjiru Mbugu also came up with a school program that has realized so many talents.
Passionate about changing lives. For me, that has always been a big thing, and I think that's why I took up the school tennis initiative. The problem at that time was that we were doing more quantity because we just wanted to make sure that tennis has been played everywhere. We didn't concentrate on quality, which would have meant we take fewer people but make them better.
Wandi later joined the KLTA board before becoming the Secretary General in Tennis Kenya, which has complied with the New Sports Act and which has seen the game rise up to greater heights and record tremendous success in 2016.
The group of people first that we came in with last year, people who are very excited about the sport. Our vision really was to see tennis grow. We want to see our players playing in the very top. And so we had to sit down. We had strategy meeting, like a whole day strategy meeting, and said, what is it that we want to do for the sport of tennis? And from that actually is how come you have been able to see all the things that have happened this year. Because now we said, okay, we broke it down. We said, coaches and officials, what are we going to do for them? So we said we need to bring a coaches course to Nairobi so that these coaches don't have to travel to other countries to do their courses, to do their certification. So let us bring it here so that they can come here and do it. Because then we are able to reach a huge number. So that we did. Officiating the same. Bring the ITF to bring the courses to Nairobi. For the junior players, we said, same thing, we are going to host the tournaments here. You know, so once we host the tournaments here, the players have an opportunity to do well. And you can see now it's paying off. I mean, we had Sheil and Kevin in an under-18 finals. It's the first time ever, you know, but it's because of the number of tournaments that they have played.
And there is more to come from this wonderful team who are determined to go beyond 2017.
I would say that these days we are trying to make tennis extremely accessible. We do not have public courts as yet. So what we've done is list Nairobi Club and sort of made it, allowed people to come and play. So anybody who wants to play tennis, just show up at Nairobi Club. And I would say for the long term, we have just finalized an agreement with Sports Kenya. They have given us a piece of land where we now intend to build public tennis courts. And this is one of our very exciting achievements of 2016. We also focused on wheelchair tennis, and we said, you know, we've been having seniors who are doing wheelchair, so now we are focusing on junior players.
Wanjiru Mbugua Karani could not have done it all without the support of her beloved dad and her siblings, her beloved husband and children who have already put their names on the Kenyan aquatic waters as they follow in the footsteps of their mother sporting wise.
My husband was also very supportive because he found me as a tennis player. So he knew this is my thing, this is my love, this is what I like to do, this is what makes me happy. And so he encouraged me and was always there to take over when I needed to. Like if we went for tournaments and things, he would be there to look after the children. And the kids also came into my life knowing, oh, Mama, there's this thing she does. And so they love to muck around. They didn't pick up the sport. But the first one loves football, but he also swims. In fact, 2 years ago, we went to South Africa for the swimming competition, and he won a gold medal in butterfly, you know. And then the second one is Kareo. She's a swimmer through and through. She's a lot like me. She plays all sports, but swimming seems to be what has also captured her. And last week we had a gala. She won like 9 medals at Kasarani. And my youngest is Kenera, and she's 3 years old. We don't know yet what she likes. Yeah, they are all a very supportive family.
And that is how passionate and dedicated this family is. And that is how Wanjiru Mbugua Karani, better known as Wanji, will manage to maintain the family legacy, even as she gives her children and others the wings to fly to their own heights, which requires...
It's very important in life that somebody is passionate about something. Whatever it is, there must be this one thing that makes you tick. This one thing that gets you up in the morning, this one thing that makes you very, very happy. And I think everybody in life should just pick one thing and just be, you know, give it their best, be extremely passionate about it.
unafanya hapa kwangu asubuhi?
Unaona huku nje mimi nilikuwa na kuangalia security.
Toka.
Uko aje huko umetoka?
Sisi tunasiti kusukuma gurutumu la maisha na nyinyi mnaburuta, ingawaje mmetuachilia.
Shida za maisha zile zimenichapa woi.
Hebu nielezee shida zako, naweza kukusaidia.
Utaniosea manguo.
Sawa.
Nini wewe?
Nikwambia utasikia palanda. Selembu Lydia.